So now what do I do? Well, I guess there's only one thing. There's something I'd like to know. Are you real? Can you feel?
Hi friends, I'm Prairie Vintage. My name is Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirits, my intuition, the tarot to communicate energies to you guys, fabulous viewers. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome. Welcome, welcome. You guys found me. Here I am. I'm so glad to be here, and I do hope you guys stay. For those of you guys returning, I'm so blessed, so grateful, and I can't thank you guys enough for being here. Can't wait to get into your reading. You guys are all very safe and welcome in this space with me today. Today's reading will be a pick a card. We'll be picking 3 options shortly. Okay, but I do want to get into a very important message regarding this reading. Okay, so if you're going to listen to this reading, then I do suggest you listen to this before you make any assumptions regarding what I'm about to channel here. Okay, so very important to this message regarding twin flames. Okay, now you don't have to buy the label so much. It is a word, a signpost, just like every other word. A word does not represent a thing. Okay, energy cannot be described in words. It is language we use so that we kind of get an idea, a feel of what it is. Okay, so all twin flame connections are completely different, but it is a type of soul connection. Okay, so I don't care whether you believe twin flame, don't believe twin flame. This reading is all about a soul connection, and it is felt on a different sort of dimension outside of the 3D physical, unlike any other connection you've had. Okay, solely it is felt in the spiritual realms, first predominantly. So this would be dreams, this would be synchronicities, this would be telepathy with other people. Okay, so if we're experiencing high levels of this with this connection, then this is most likely your reading. Okay, I don't care what you call it. All right, now there's lots of terms, and we could get very specific. And no, soulmates are not like twin flames when it comes to the energy that's around depicting what sort of soul connection it is. Okay, this is going to be a twin flame reading, but I don't care what you're calling it. Okay, so let's get into what this is so that you don't wander here in the wrong direction. First of all, I challenge anyone who comes forward with any sort of idea about what they think twin flames is that deviates from what I'm about to say. Okay, so I know it's a strong claim, and I also admit that if I were to say I know everything, then I would most likely already be in the wrong, because we don't know. We don't know everything beyond a shadow of a doubt. There is no 100% certainty about anything. Okay, we can't claim to know 100% certainty. All I can claim to tell you is that I have been on a twin flame journey. I have read for many people, okay, who are on the twin flame journey, who have no clue or had no clue that they were on it, and some had an idea they were on it, and I've read for others who thought they were on it and were not on it at all. Okay, so lots of experience. So this is coming based on my experience and firsthand experience. So this is what I'm about to deliver here. A twin flame journey has absolutely nothing to do with a romanticized idea of love, relationship, babies, and commitment for a long-time family build. That's not what a twin flame relationship is. That's most likely a soulmate type connection. Okay, so those are common, and we're sort of conditioned with that mindset. And so when we meet the twin, we sort of come in with that sort of idea of what it should be or how it should be, and it doesn't quite make any sense at all. Okay, most people who are looking for a twin or a twin flame, I could tell you are probably not on a twin flame journey at this time. Okay, now everything happens at once. So does their twin exist? Probably somewhere in some capacity, but are they experiencing the twin flame journey at the time that they're sort of seeking? No, a twin flame journey sort of finds you, okay, but in some past life, in some decision, there was an agreement to connect with your twin flame. And why? Because twin flames are set for a very specific reason, to raise the vibration of consciousness here on Earth. Okay, so this would mean bringing you back closer to God, closer to your authentic self. The only way we could do that is through transmutation of egos, shadows, okay, and healing traumas and ancestral wounds. That's what the whole soul purpose of a twin flame is. Nothing to do with anything else. If anything else happens, then that's fine. And that's all independent based on what's supposed to sort of unfold by destiny with that twin. But everybody's journey unfolds differently. Some end up being together, some end up being best friends, some end up choosing to live with a soulmate. It all depends. Okay, but the main crux of the twin flame connection is the same in regards to if you haven't had a spiritual awakening, it is not your twin flame. I don't care what you say. It needs to be an awakening, okay? And an awakening can happen in a very slow process. It could happen in a very spontaneous fashion. Okay, it can happen gradually. We could be confused and not sure. Okay, but trust me, when you experience a twin flame, you're sure and certain that it's nothing like you've experienced before. That's a for sure. Okay, you could be completely upside down in your intuition. You don't even know if it's your twin. Okay, that doesn't mean it's not. Okay, in fact, when you're on a twin flame journey, everything's upside down. You know nothing. Intuition is all screwy. Okay, doesn't mean it's not your twin. At a certain point, you'll become very clear with your intuition that it is your twin, and it doesn't matter what anyone else says because you already know. Okay, but if you're still trying to seek answers because you're unsure, then just know if your world has been flipped upside down, if you're having crazy energy in regards to dreams, synchronicities, and connecting with your twin flame on other dimensions, then it's most likely a twin flame. When it comes to you getting closer to self and ascending to getting closer, when I say closer to self, closer to your authentic self, closer to God. Okay, your twin is also mirroring you, meaning they're also ascending. They're also healing. So if you're the one who's healing, if you're the one who's overcoming wounds, traumas, but your twin isn't, then that's most likely a karmic agreement with someone, a soul connection with someone for you to heal and overcome certain traumas. A twin flame ascends with you. They heal with you. They mirror with you. You can't get rid of your twin flame. You can't just decide to leave. You can't just say, oh, I'm off this journey. No, trust me, if that was that easy, we'd all just get right off. Okay, most people on the twin flame journey do not want to be there. It is painful. Okay, now it's not painful necessarily because your twin flame is being abusive to you to create suffering. Your twin flame is full of shadow, just like you are. At whatever point you started your journey, shadow, trauma. And so your twin acts out of this trauma shadow. They could be completely upside down and confused. They're not doing abusive things to you to be malicious. If that's the case, it's not your twin. Your twin is not abusive, malicious, purposefully. Your twin is full of shadow. Your twin is going to act out of shadow because that's all they know. Okay, so if we're thinking this is like enabling a narcissist and an empath connection, then that's our mindset, and we need to sort of question where we got that concept from, that belief from someone. Someone's told you this, or someone's explained this to you, and that's fine if that's your concept of it, but that has nothing to do with the actual experience. Now, we all have narcissistic tendencies, every single one of us. Some people have more shadows than others. So if we want to paint it with that brush, we can go ahead, because it is challenging. Sometimes we're dealing with someone who deals with things in a narcissistic way because of their traumas. They're also a divine child of God. Okay, they need to heal whatever's going on with their shadows, their traumas. Doesn't mean it's easy, no. Okay, but the empath also is traumatized, needing to prove something, abandonment wounds, needing to heal, their needs to rescue, their needs to heal other people. Okay, so that's a trauma. It's working through our egos, working through our shadows. So I highly suggest you listen to my, if you go to my homepage, it should be up there now. Okay, if you're watching at the time of this reading, I have a twin flame video. If you are listening to how do they feel about you, relationship readings over and over, but you're not doing the work, I don't think I'm your reader here, okay? Because I'm not going to be just perpetuating the how do they feel about you and these types of readings so that you can just keep pointing your nose in the direction externally to this person. If you're suffering, if this is ongoing, that's a clue for you to now start watching other videos or other things in order for you to heal, ascend. Okay, it's not about just this person's energy. It's yes, this person's energy, but it's going to remain however it remains until you actually take action. What's the action you're supposed to be doing? Transmutation of your ego, your shadows, observation of your actions, being conscious, being the observer in your world, noticing your triggers, noticing your reactions, and then transmuting that energy, those shadows, into light. If you're not doing that, then you're just going to be in the tarot world, spinning your wheels, stuck on someone. Okay. And so that has nothing to do with the tarot reader. They don't want to keep you stuck on anyone. They're reading your energy. And what's fascinating is if you're disconnected from your intuition, a tarot reader is reading your mind. It's going to be your mind reflected to you. It's your state of consciousness. And so this is why we watch tarot readings and get for years, this person's coming back, or this message, this kind of consistent repeating. And then people get frustrated. The tarot reader, you keep saying this, you keep saying that. No, that's your mind. You're stuck in a mind loop. Wake up. Okay, wake up out of the mind. The tarot reading is going to reflect back to your state of mind. So if you're stuck in your mind, telling yourself the same thing about your person, you're going to keep hitting that same wall. You have to rise above whatever that is so that you can actually be in tune with your intuition. Then these readings are going to make sense to you. Okay, they really make sense to you if you intuitively know that there's progression and ascension on your journey. If this is just spinning around and it's not growing, it's not getting anywhere, that has nothing to do that the tarot doesn't work and the readers are just keeping you stuck. No, that has everything to do with your still being asleep. Wake up, get out of your mind. This isn't a mind journey. Okay. In fact, the mind is such a small percent of our who we are. Okay. It's not even who we are. We're not the mind, but it's a small percent of us. Okay. And so there's a lot going on outside of the mind. And until we awaken, we feel like we're understanding, but we're still in the mind, using the mind to understand. And we're sort of in a little prison there, okay? And so the awakening gets you out of your mind and into your heart. And when you're in your heart, it's felt and it's understood and experienced spiritually. And that has nothing to do with concepts, minds, stories, and that sort of thing. Okay, and so nobody is going to tell you whether this person is your twin flame, not your twin flame. You're going to cover this on your own, and your journey is completely different than anyone else's. So you'll be seeking, and never really finding the answers you need until you finally realize what it is that you're being called to do by spirit is specific to you. And throughout that process, you finally ascend to a certain point and turn your energy inwards, and it's all about your healing. That's it. Okay. Now that doesn't mean your twin's not there. It doesn't mean your twin's not annoying. Doesn't mean it's not painful. It just means now you're dealing with it differently. You're not trying to attach to someone and physically make them your soulmate or provide a roof or some form of something for you. Okay. That's loving with condition. That's loving out of fear. That's transactional love. That's not what this is. Twin flames are all about unconditional love. Okay, this doesn't mean unconditionally putting up with abuse. This doesn't mean unconditionally staying there in an environment that isn't fulfilling. This is all about healing yourself so you're not triggered. This is all about healing yourself so that you can exist with people with traumas, with shadows, and not be pulled and not feel in a state of suffering, like you're needing this person to do anything for you. Nobody owes you anything. If you have an expectation of someone out there to do something for you, you're not tapping into your authentic self that's already whole and complete. This is all about reaching a state of unity consciousness. There is no separation. That is an illusion. If you still feel separate, sad, lonely, any contracting energies, that means you still need to do work on yourself. Now, you don't have to, but if you want to release yourself from suffering and ascend, then your only mission is to reach a state of unity consciousness, peace, wholeness. Okay, Satori, there is no need for you to seek it externally. And this journey is assuring that you're out of that sort of energy of seeking external. And that's why it keeps pushing you back to this, because this is the future. Okay, the future of spiritual growth here on New Earth. It's all about spirituality and connecting to God, spirit, essence, whatever you want to call it. Okay, your authentic self, your highest self, which, by the way, there's only one self, and then removing the veil. The veil, which is all the egos, all the constructs, conditions, the matrix, whatever you want to call it. That's an illusion. We're removing that. And so twin flames are pioneering this. And when we awaken, when we're removing the illusion of separation consciousness, we ascend. And when we ascend, other people around us ascend. Okay, and our twin is on this journey with you, because twins are connected by the soul spiritually. And so when one ascends, the other one ascends. If that's not happening, it's not your twin flame. I don't care what anyone says. Okay, but again, only you know. And we don't know what's the pace is because there's no such thing as time. So if they're not ascending exactly when you ascend, okay, if that's not what it appears to be, then we got to be patient. Okay, but the twin will ascend. If we're freed from the twin at any point, and when I say freed, we're no longer attached by the same energy, and it sort of feels like we've been released from something with the twin, then it's most likely a karmic connection. Your twin will always be sort of in your energy center. You just sort of adapt and cope and get rid of all the devilly ways that you might have been attached, all the stories, all the expectations, all the obsessions, and everything like that. Okay, your twin will constantly be sort of a part of your energy. It comes into union, the energy. Okay, but you must come into union with self. And so first you come to the realization that there's work needed. Then you break through the illusions. And then you come into a union with self. Okay, and then your twin comes into union with you. Okay, and then it feels like you're connected to God, everyone and everything. Okay, and this can happen in phases, stages. But ultimately, this is all about unity consciousness and opening your heart space to an unconditional love. That's what this is all about. Okay, so just wanted to put that out there, and we're going to get into this twin flame reading, and we're taking a look at what's going on with you, your twin, the connection, and what you need to know right here, right now. So let's take a look at the decks we'll be using. So for the pick a card, we'll pull 3 of these Saga Oracle cards. Okay, that's this deck right here, and I'll put a link to the playlist where I share all these decks, or most of them anyway. So we'll be using the Andromeda Skies. For the tarot, we'll be using the Apparition Spirit Speak Tarot deck. We'll be using the Enneagram Love Oracle and the Mystical Oracle. All right. So, gorgeous angels, those are the decks we'll be using. Let's pull 3 cards from this Saga deck. For this reading, do not take words literally, okay? This is going to be channeled directly from spirits and through me. Okay, so of course, use your own intuition, which you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether the pile makes sense for you. But this isn't using your mind, this is using your intuition, okay? So if you're developing your intuition, I highly suggest you sit through the card layout for tapping into it, okay? So Spirit, for the collective that I'm tapped into for this twin flame reading, can we get 3 cards, 3 options for this twin flame reading? Option number 1, option number 2, and option number 3. Option number 3 for this twin flame reading, Spirit. Okay. Gorgeous angels, I won't be reading any reversals. Let's take a look. For option 1, you guys have this pouch. Option number 2, you guys have, is it this way? Yeah. It looks like a meteorite striking. Option number 3, you guys got a tree. Now, I will hold these up because sometimes it helps us to sort of look at all 3. Like this. Hopefully, oopsie. Hopefully this helps. I don't know how to do it. Let's do it like this. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. I'll leave this like this. If you're called to multiple piles, it's fine. Could be different aspects of the same connection. Okay, that's fine. Energy is really, really layered, interconnected, and we don't know how Spirit's going to deliver this message. Okay, so just keep an open mind as to what you'll see, but don't come in with a pre-explained sort of understanding, because then you'll be missing out what Spirit's wanting to communicate to you. Okay, so I'll put the timestamp down below. Option 1, option 2, option 3. It'll take you guys directly to your pick, and I will see you at your pick. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 1, you guys pick this pouch. Okay, for your pick, we're looking at your twin flame journey. And we're going to channel what comes through here in regards to what's going on in your connection. And then we'll pull some tarot as well and see what Spirit wants to communicate about this connection. I do highly suggest you go listen to the intro message before you watch this video. Okay, and I do have a twin flame reading as well posted on my homepage. If you're watching at the time of the reading, that will help you on your journey here. Okay, this is not for everyone, and if you are triggered, then good, because that means there's something needing to be addressed. Okay, we shouldn't be triggered unless we still have trauma and shadows and that sort of thing. Okay, and so this is what this reading is intended to do, is highlight anything here that we're needing to sort of address or look at. And if we're indifferent and it doesn't really create any sort of trauma or any sort of trigger, I should say, then it's not probably something that is either your pile, or I don't know, maybe you're not on the twin flame journey. That's up to you, okay, to determine. I'm just reading cards and energy here. So I've pre-shuffled oracle cards. I've not looked at these. I asked Spirit specifically for pile number 1 regarding their twin flame journey, what it is you're needing to know, what's going on in your connection. And this is what came out. Okay, so don't take words literally, and we're going to channel what comes through. So we have surrender to the beauty of the natural world. Take a relaxing break and spend time in nature, replenishing yourself by feeling the beauty and the ecstasy there. Beautiful. If some of you guys were called to pile 3, there might be some messages there for you. I'm getting a strong energy, although I haven't filmed 3 just yet. Okay, veil of ignorance. Number 6, ego level. Being safe and secure. Need of the group. Pessimism, fear, doubt, obedience, excessive loyalty. Type 6, the loyalist. Thinking center between mistrust and trust. So 6 is that of Gemini and Capricorn. Okay. We have 17, Aquarius energy, inner call, ego level, and Leo. So vulnerability, sensitivity versus power, compassion, justice, gentleness, emotions, depth, anger, management. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. Okay, and then we have 78, difficult event, stress level, deviance, rules, uncompliance, delinquency, marginality, offense, transgression, outside the norm. Type 6, the loyalist, thinking center between mistrust and trust. So Gemini and Capricorn energy here. I'm going to have to cover this up with deviance. Okay. And then we have 63, fundamental injury, stress level, separation, estrangement, divorce, loss, grief, breakup, and departure. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. So we have Virgo and Cancer energy. We have second chakra, the number 2, the energy of sacral chakra, helps us navigate our lives through our emotions and supports our ability to enjoy the sensual world. And we have 8-8, path of least resistance, choose ease and grace. And we have flings. I've been sleeping around, sometimes one night stands. Here, remember, we're not taking words literally here. It's giving me 3 cups type energy. And then we have unconditional. The yin and the yang. It's dark and the light. Manifesting. It says, I am manifesting in 2021. That might be an important date. We see rose quartz, which is all about self-love. Unconditional love. Okay, and then I wish you were here with me And illusion. Seek reality, even if it's raw and challenging. And then it says mirage, fantasy, and deception at the bottom. And we have Mars Chiron, number 40, or the number 4. 4 is Aries and Scorpio energy. Okay, so Mars is all about empowerment, assertion. Chiron is the wounded healer. It's all about healing our wounds and our traumas and our shadows. Okay, and then we have 48, or the number 12. So Pisces energy coming through, and Taurus Libra. Jupiter, Neptune. Okay, so this could be dreaming big, could be, fantasizing rather than maybe even taking action here. Neptune's the ruling planet for Pisces. And then we have deflection, 76. Okay, and so this is number 13, which is Scorpio energy and more Aries energy with deflection. Okay, I'm going to channel this. Some energy's already pulling through. What should I use, Spirit? Let's use this one right here. Okay, you can skip ahead if you'd like. Okay, you guys, this one is clean, meaning it's very straightforward what I'm seeing here as a message. Okay, there might be many layers and other things going on, but I'm only seeing one predominant message here. Okay, so I don't know, maybe it was the one you were needing to hear, or maybe the biggest sort of thing or reason here or driver behind your twin flame. I'm going to read this as it's your twin flame here. Okay, if it's you, apply it to yourself. I'm just seeing energy here, and it's showing an example of someone here who I'm tapped into, I'll call it your twin, is really, really sort of stuck in the matrix. This could be mirrored by you and your twin, hence why I'm only seeing one sort of energy, because I wasn't sure if I would see like about the connection, you and them, and all of this. I see one energy. This person is in the matrix, okay? And that's fine, because we've all been in the matrix, which is a conditioned programming understanding of what we see in the 3D world becomes a reality. It's nothing but an illusion. Okay, like, yes, it's happening, but it's the manifest and the unmanifest. The manifest and unmanifest, everything is born and then dies. Everything comes into being and then out of manifestation. The stuff that is forever is in other realms that we can't see, our eternal self, consciousness, that sort of thing. But what's in the 3D world, sort of like I say, it appears and disappears. It is not more real because we see it with our eyes. Okay, so this person is still in the matrix. And what it's talking about here is this person's experienced a challenge. And it does feel to me, although I'm not really seeing where it originated so much, but it does feel to me like an experience of the past. So it could definitely be childhood, where this person experienced a concept or an idea or an understanding of what it means to be safe for themselves. So if they experience, let's say, their parents going through a divorce, or they went through a divorce, there's some truth in their perception of what has happened to them that's made them feel like trusting and being vulnerable is painful. And there's all sorts of challenges with doing this now. This person has a very, very deep-rooted understanding, belief within themselves that doesn't allow them to be vulnerable, open, and trusting of connection. And so it could manifest in any sort of level here. But for this group specifically, I feel like it ranges everywhere from I can't get deep at all. And so I keep all my relationships very superficial. It's like a physical thing, potentially, or it's just like whether they do kind of sleep around and it's physical that way, and they just date a lot of people, but it never becomes like, like commitment or love to someone who doesn't date anyone or whatever, because it's very superficial. And I just have a bunch of friends here and I keep it 3 cups and I socialize and that's how I get my fill, but never mind connecting with someone deeply. It is a challenge for this person because it would require them to be vulnerable. This person cannot experience a 2 cups emotionally. They can, but not in this state, because this state is a fear, and they freeze, and all of their doubts and all of their traumas come to the surface of whatever's happened to them that's deeply rooted in their energy center. okay, that they're needing to work through, because it doesn't just fall away because we believe it in our mind. So there is an understanding this person has experienced and then holds close to them as to how they need to be in order to not be exposed to pain and suffering. Because, God forbid, if they were to experience the two cups and then get abandoned, it would be traumatic for this person. I feel like this person is not used to or wanting any traditional form of connection at all. Okay, so this person is just sort of being rebellious here. I feel like their Hierophant is one that they've created, which is I do what I want, or I party, or I sleep around, or I just don't commit, or I'm like always the single person, or I'm known as this, and that's the image that I've created. That's the one I think that I am, because the other version of me that actually would be authentic, like everyone, that needs love and connection in two cups, is sort of put away for now, and I don't want to see it, and I don't want to let it out. Okay, so there's a lot of frustration you could imagine that comes with this. So this person does have some anger. Okay, this person doesn't feel safe and secure in connection and relationship. I feel like this person feels like they would really, 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 really need a lot of reassurance here, you know? And so this doesn't mean that this person can never work through this. But it's like, to prove to them some form of loyalty, it seems like it would be an endless search, or like this person would never find what it is that they're wanting to see before them, before they can actually be vulnerable and accept. And so this means no matter how much you sort of earn this person's trust or like show them, it's like, it's really difficult for this person to trust and to believe that anyone could be loyal to this person. And so that isn't, like a good state to be in. And so I do feel this person has to get to that bond somehow, has to, because otherwise they would just be like a caveman living in the cave, grunting, So how does this person fulfill themselves? I feel like this energy I'm tapped into would most likely have a lot of friends, okay, or really cling to like family. There's something here that is 3 cups-ish that really entertains this person. It fills that sort of void, superficially, by the way. And it's like just enough to sort of make this person believe that that's good enough, or it's enough, or that they're choosing this thing. Okay, but they're suppressing the natural part of self. And so this person's biggest challenge is connecting to their emotions. This person feels very uncomfortable connecting to their emotions. It would require them to be authentic and vulnerable and exposed potentially when it comes to feelings. And when I say authentic, actually, if this person could definitely be like, speaking authentically from a part of them that thinks that they're believing what they believe. That's for sure. But this person can't really necessarily connect to the authentic part of self if they're still have this thing developed within them, this trauma, or this belief that being in 2 cups is going to leave them exposed and hurt and all of this type of stuff. It's fighting the natural world. It's fighting this person's truest ability to connect on a very deep soulful level. So why was this person sort of introduced on this twin flame journey? They're learning about unconditional love. Unconditional love is going to push them beyond this, because an unconditional love supersedes anything that's sitting in the trauma and the beliefs and the fears. And unconditional love is pure and true. And so anything that's illusion is going to be seen through. And so at some point, this person's going to see sort of the error of their ways, or the illusion they've been under, or the spell that they've sort of created here about how to engage in relationship. Okay, and this will become a reality to this person, that they're needing to deal with that, because they'll tip the scales at some point in time where it needs to be addressed and looked at. They can't run and avoid this thing or just fulfill themselves anymore by a 3 cups. And so when they experience this connection with you, the way I'm reading it, okay, then this person can no longer go back to their sort of superficial ways. there's a superficiality about how they engage with connection. It's not fulfilling. Like I said, it's on a scale for all of you guys. If it's just like sexual, physical things here because they have some physical need, then, I mean, that's not very deep and fulfilling, I don't know how long that can be. And if it's someone who's just like getting, needing to sort of fulfill the group and like hang out and do all that stuff or have friends, it's like at a certain point, it's not deep enough, because when they experience this connection, they'll know the difference. We don't know the difference unless we experience both worlds. This person's being called to experience the world of what they're sort of missing out on. Okay, and so in order for this person to really connect to unconditional love, there's a need to work on self-love, because I feel like somebody like this might definitely have a challenge in regards to loving self because of whatever happened to them that created this sort of trauma or this belief. There is a part of them that might feel like if they could do something different, then they would have some sort of control over the outcome, which means whatever happened was their fault. Okay, and so if it's their fault, there might be a lack of self-worth or self-confidence or like self-love or something that I did that wasn't good, or something within me, or something bad about me, or something that can't be loved about me. I have this different thing about me. It's not true. Okay, so as long as we carry that, then we cannot be totally connected to unconditional love and show up. So we have to heal. We have to work on self-love. Okay, but like I feel like this person is very much in the matrixy world because it's all about what I've seen, what I've experienced, and like they're not even going to want to buy right away. Like, let's say if they connect with you on this deep, soulful, intimate, unconditional realm of love, it's like at a certain point, only they can sort of have the buy-in. And I feel like this person, for a lot of reasons, would be in denial, would not want to accept it. Because accepting that truth would mean that I've been under an illusion, or that I was wrong, or like misunderstood, or like I was doing something. And so now not only do I have thinking it was my fault about the divorce or the separation or whatever caused the pain initially, and now it's everything that sort of transpired in my love life or since then that was under sort of my doing. And now I'm like doubly sort of condemning myself in some way, and so we got to work through this pain. Work through the pain of what it was that was holding us back. There's a lot of devil energy here. So some of you guys, like I said, it could definitely be this, getting fulfillment from like very superficial ways with other people here. And it doesn't make us feel good. When it's very superficial, it's not fulfilling. It makes us feel more like we can't trust. And then we feel more shitty about ourselves and our decisions, And so if it's not a sleep around, it's like, I can't be loved. I can't be loved, And so, but these people love me, whatever, my brohood or my whatever, like this community that I've developed or that I cling to, or this, like, there are people though, whatever it is. But those people only fill a certain role here. And it doesn't matter how many of them are sort of there. It never fulfills that part of self that's disconnected. Okay, so this person is needing to do the shadow work and is also needing to trust themselves in a way here that can go after what it is that they're truly wanting to feel. They want love. They want to experience this stuff, because who doesn't? No one's going to say, no, I don't. None for me, please. But it's like a catch-22 here, because it comes with all of this other stuff that sort of speaks first, which is the fear and the devilly thoughts. So is this person feeling you enough to address this? I would say so. And if this is driving this sort of a change or realization, I would definitely say it's like a twin flame sort of connection here, but I don't see. Only you can kind of put your story together here. If this is like a karmic thing, okay, not a twin flame, but like a karmic connection, this could definitely be somebody who is introduced to someone to resolve this part of self. And once this is sort of healed and resolved, that's it. It's like move on time, So I don't know, because I can't see. And so if there's like a mirroring happening, if there is other things, other layers going on in this sort of connection, then there could be. Okay, so I'm not ruling out the twin flame sort of thing, but you'll know if you've tapped into this part over here about your person. So I feel like this person has been getting along fine by not addressing this and being sort of okay with that, They're really not okay, but they don't know that they're not okay because they haven't experienced the depth of it. And so it's like, runner, I could run from this and I'm not going to acknowledge and maybe even sort of avoidant of communicating this. And yeah, like a lot of deflection here when it comes to acknowledging there's a lot of suppression about what they actually need in order to be happy. And I feel like this person carries like a 10 wands type energy here, because carrying this is now stacking up. I see it's building, 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 like the 10 wands of burden. And it's heavier than just sort of allowing ourselves to love again, allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, allowing ourselves to have freedom to express and share. That would really lighten this person's load, but it's like, because of all of this traumatic fear and this devilly energy, it's like I've built up this energy. And so it's very challenging. I was going to say awkward, difficult, fearful to put themselves in that energy. It's like it feels not natural. Okay. And so this person would need a lot of courage to face this fear. I feel this person is now coming through as well, very held back from their truest passion and desires towards you. So I would feel like someone like this in this energy has either not told you how they feel, well, definitely hasn't expressed the depth of it because they're trying to avoid and pretend like it's not there, and believe their own lies in some way at some point in time in this connection. Okay, whether they're still doing that or not, I don't know, but there is still a held back energy, I feel, and it's like held back because of what would it mean if I do give into this thing? What would it mean if I let it sort of go? And so they're being called to look at this thing, and I feel like this person already comes with a preconceived, it won't work, it's not going to work, it's just going to fall apart. I fear being abandoned, I fear it won't work, I might experience the pains of the past, like I said. And so this could definitely be somebody that sabotages, that like breaks up before you do. So if this is someone that you experience for like a brief period of time, they might have broke up with you or ran, and it's like, what? It was going great. Okay, or this could just be someone that never got there and just kind of keeps you at an arm's distance, or somebody who you experience a one-night stand with, and then it just sort of seems like, well, what? Like you feel there's more, but it's like it can't get beyond this. And this person has an excessive obedience to their mindset and their hierophant of the world that they created, the devilly thoughts that they have, is like that's where their commitment goes. And I got to feed that thing, and I got to really support that thing and have buy-in with that thing. And as they do that, it's like deflecting the truth and the reality here. And so this person, because it is going through phases, this could definitely be somebody who might even see you as someone here who is like just someone who can't be real in their world, even a fantasy, and they might keep things in that realm. It's like they can't make it a reality. So you belong to the non-existent world. The manifestation of the 3D world of the matrix is all of that other stuff that they want to make true. But you are a part of this like dream world, You're for like another time and space. And for some of you guys, this energy is coming through like in the future, but it's like in the future, what? Like they're needing to deal with this. It's like in the future, some far, far away land, maybe I'll be deserving of you, or it might work, or something like this. So this person needs to heal. This person was destined to be in contact with you to resolve whatever this is, or at least to work through it and see through it, which they will. I don't know how fast and I don't know how slow. And I do feel like this person could put up all sorts of roadblocks, running, resisting, deflecting, creating all sorts of stalling here until they can't no more, because the 10 wands is making this person deal with this thing that this person will have to admit that the truth of the natural world supersedes that of the illusion of the fear and the heavy 10 wands of burden, because when they compare them side by side, it's going to be an obvious that they can't lie to themselves no more. And so this is why it's important, if you are with this person, it's coming through that if you give them the space, they can do whatever they want. If they're running, if they're in separation, all of this going back to old ways, hanging out, doing the thing that's annoying to you or whatever, that proves the fear. the more they do this, the more contrast they have, the more this person will come into a realization. And so if you are in separation with this person, good. Let them experience what they're experiencing, the disappointment, the unfulfillment, the thing that's going to, in contrast, look very pale compared to the calling here, which is the unconditional love and this connection. Okay, because this person is going to keep getting kicked back to you. This is going to be a repetitive record in this person's mind. With pile one, it looks different. With pile one, I experienced this. With pile one, like it just keeps coming back, and spirit will be relentless with this. And yes, because this person's going to have to address it, going to have to be honest, going to have to do what's in line with their natural thing, not with the fear, not with the trauma, not with the illusion. If we act out of illusion, we're acting out of ego. We're acting out of fear, shadow, trauma, devils. Okay? And this person is being called not to deal with devils. I feel like this person is being called to take action, but also have an authenticity when it comes to communicating their truest desires, their truest emotions, what they really, really, really feel. And I feel like this person, if they were to remove you, from like, let's say, the equation here, and they were to be asked, like, are you being honest about how you truly feel with pile number one? They would tell themselves yes. Because this person is buying their own lie to protect themselves. It's not like they're like, he, I'm just going to keep it secret. This person has a difficult time connecting to their emotions, being vulnerable within themselves, to tell themselves, to connect to it, and then acknowledge to themselves. There's a deflection. So it's not about keeping you out because I don't want to be foolish in front of you, or I don't want you to see the true thing of how I feel. No, it's about me inside of me. And I tell myself that I'm different and that I can't connect there, and I just don't connect there. I don't even know where there is, because I've developed this way of coping with the pain so bad, this trauma so bad, that it's not even there. The bridgeway between my emotions and my vulnerable self doesn't exist there. And so I can't connect to those emotions. So if I can't do that internally with self, how can I present it to you? I can't manifest that version of me. Okay, so it's not like they're keeping secret and just like, yeah, I know how I truly feel, and I feel this deep unconditional love, and I'm just going to not say it. No. Okay, so very much in the 3D, very much in the matrix, very much about what they're experiencing has been fulfilling up until now because they don't know the difference. And so they were able to make do, but it's a form of suffering because we can't go our whole life without experiencing a deep, profound 2 cups. And so there is something here about, like, in the distance, with the 17's the star, and these 2, elderly people here is like the long term. So there's something here about a long-term commitment and going through like something that stands the test of time. And this person sort of experiencing what doesn't, and then thinking that's what it is. And so although things do manifest and unmanifest, and nothing really stands the test of time here, a love isn't in the body. A love is felt, because if I were to say to you, prove to me that you love, how do you prove such a thing? You can't manifest love. I mean, you could take action, but that's not love itself. And so there is this love that transcends past body, past time. Okay, and so this person needs to connect to that. And this person is only sort of understanding love on sort of a 3D level here. And so this could be mirrored. Okay, now it's coming through, to you, because with twin flames, what we really learn about is unity consciousness and transcending past the separation consciousness, which is an illusion. So this person is definitely in a separation consciousness. All I see and believe in is the 3D manifest. Okay, and so as long as I live in that world and that assumption and that sort of environment, then I'm living in an illusion and a matrix. And so the awakening process of the twin flame here is to get this person out of the matrix, out of this, what I only see is the reality, towards knowing that there is love that transcends past this 3D dimension, that stands the test of time, that is connected to the authentic self, the essence of self, and really connect to that. And now they could really, really sort of trust in that and not feel abandoned and not feel like let down and not let the trauma sort of dictate this unhappiness, because they would find a true fulfillment with that when they connect to that light, that love, So yeah, this person just doesn't want to be abandoned, doesn't want to be abandoned because they experienced it. And so they create, and we could say, well, why would somebody then run first? Or like, because they're abandoning me, or like create the separation, or because they don't want to put themselves in a position where they are out of control or in someone else's control. So it's a sabotage. It's like, I don't let it happen. And then that way it, it won't leave me vulnerable. So definitely separation consciousness going on here with this person. If you are in a separation with this person misses you. This person is comparing what they had with you. This person wants you in their world again. Now, I don't know that this person has healed this part of themselves. So where it's going to go, I don't know. It might stay stagnant for a while until another separation or something like this, until they run again, until they get triggered again. But there's a pull and a call from the divine towards you, because this person will forever, like I said, be called towards you until they deal and heal and undo this illusion of a belief that's been created by the trauma and heal through this, because they're destined to heal through this. Okay, this person needs to sort of reach a state where they feel safe and secure in a 2 cups here, from a place that isn't putting all their weight in the 3D. Okay, and be like, see, I told you, or something like this, because that's not where the true connection happens. It happens outside of this dimension. Okay, and so this person might seem very preoccupied. For those of you guys who want to know if you resonate with this, preoccupied with another group. I don't know, friends, family, there's some sort of group here. Some sort of place where they're getting their validity or their soul food from. That's like a superficial way. It's only, like for them, it's like very intense. It might mean lots, but it's because they're deficient and they're only like settling. It's almost like, I'll use this analogy. Let's say we are really, 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 really like thirsty, because it's a human nature to need to drink. And this person only ever has access to, like, again, sugary water or salted water. And that's their thing. And so then it's like they really put a strong emphasis on the sugary water or the salty water. And it's like they put so much emphasis on that because they're getting a little bit of water with that and they need the water. And it's like, and it's like blown out of proportion. And so this is why if you engage with this person, it's like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because that's the part that's sort of unhealthy, But to them, it's like if they knew it was the water they were seeking, the water that was what they wanted, it wouldn't be this intensity. But the sugar water or salt water or whatever it is here is keeps perpetuating this state of suffering. So we're looking at pile number 1 and their twin flame connection and what it is that we need to know about this person. Spirit, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile 1. Please help me to channel this in a way pile 1 will understand. Thank you so much, Spirit. And thank you so much, pile 1, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here doing your reading today. So, King of Wands revealing itself, which is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. So I'm getting divine masculine energy strong, okay, energetically here, intuitively. We're seeing Mars, which is Aries, the King of Wands, which is also Aries, divine masculine. See the 3 pentacles at the bottom of the deck. I don't read bottom of the deck reverse. And of course we have Pentacles, which is this material world. Let's keep going. And we have the Queen of Swords, and she's in the sideways position, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Okay, and then we have the King of Swords in the reverse and the Lovers. So heavy Gemini energy coming through. Okay, that's Mercury energy. Need for some form of communication. Queen of Wands. So now we have the King and the Queen of Wands, the King and the Queen of Swords. So these are divine counterparts. Anytime we see them coming out in a spread, okay, it's going to symbolize like our soul tribe. The Queen and the King of Wands. And that's divine masculine, divine feminine here. Did I flip it? I don't know if I did, but I'm going to read it like this. Okay, and then the King and the Queen of Swords. And we have the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. And it's clarified by the Fool, Aquarius energy, which is coming through with this number 17. So, beautiful angels. Give me a second here just to tap into this energy. What's under 3 Pentacles? We have Temperance in reverse, which is Sagittarius energy. Okay. Beautiful angels. Your person who I was reading here is not in balance here, so they can't show up. We already know they can't show up. When we are on a twin flame journey, we could be at any sort of stage. I think your question is about in the 3D world, how can I work with this person? How can I build something with this person? Which is fair enough, you know? This is sort of the last manifestation with all this Mercury energy. The manifestation comes when sort of it's ready to bud. But we can't bud anything when there's a whole back end that needs to be resolved, looked at, healed, and dealt with. So this should be the last question. When can I build? When can they show up? When can we work together to create something? When? Don't even ask. What we want to know right now is this person, they're out of balance. They can't show up. They got to tap into their emotions. They're all out of whack. They got to come into union with themselves before they could come into union with you. And when they come into union with you, then you can build and create something in the 3D world. 3D world ain't happening. Okay, it's not going to happen. Why is it not going to happen? It might at some point, but the some point is like they got to prepare and do the groundwork. Okay, so I have a feeling that you're not in the know. You're not being in the know here, so you're lacking clarity. You're not being told what's what, and so you're unclear, like, where's this going? Is there a future? What can I expect? You know, and so we start to doubt, like, do I engage with this? Is this worth my energy? Can I build something here for me? Like, then it turns back to about me. I want clarity. I want certainty. I want to know I could build something. I want to build something. Like, me, and we're back into ego. So check yourself before you wreck yourself, because this, if you're on a twin flame journey, has everything to do with transcending past ego and transactional needs. I need to know. I want to know. I have to know. Okay, that's all egoic. Your ego wants to know. Okay, this doesn't mean waste your whole time and peg yourself to someone who is like trauma. No, if that's your only understanding of it, then you have some healing to do. This is all about standing on your own energy so that you can find the strength within you to make your own clarity, your own decisions, and speak your truth. Not dependent on whether someone else is making it for you. Okay? And so this needs to be worked through, and maybe you are working through it, so I shouldn't give you hell. But all I'm saying, if you keep falling back into that, then know you're an ego and you still got work to do. So you're also in a temperance reverse. Both you guys are not healed, and both of you guys can't come together. Both you guys need to come into union with self. You need to address some sort of understanding you have here in regards to what weight you're putting on this person. This person should have no weight, no expectation of anything for you. They don't owe you anything. There's nothing going to be forthcoming here except for you healing and dealing with what you need to. Okay, now there's a lover's path here, which means there's something very destined here. There is a potential to go down a path, okay, with this person. This person is acting in a way here that is not good. From a lot of you guys, this person could be very, very cold, you know, very much in an energy here that's not speaking to you and communicating to you the future understanding. This person could be so illogical based on their pains and everything that I just channeled that they're sort of stuck in their own mind and just really removed here from a reality, okay? And so this needs to be worked through. This is all about the ascension. This is all about the self-love. This is all about back end stuff and other sort of dimensions needing to be healed, and emotional body needing to be worked through before things can manifest. So this person does seem like somebody here who could certainly have an energy of my way, highway, and kind of confident about what they're thinking that they want for self. Okay. But it might fall short of bonding to the emotional body. And it's like a belief that they have in regards to the illusion of self, or the self that's been created, the egoic self. And this is their understanding of what they have to sort of work with, like this version of them. This is the me that's going to create my future. This is the me that's going to be successful. This is the me that's going to do X, Y, Z. They're still in that energy because they still have the illusion and they still believe to be that person. Okay, and I feel it's void of feelings. I feel it's void of yeah, like it's really about self-serving, you know? And so there's a heavy ego that comes through here. But is this person attracted to you? Absolutely. Does this person see you as a person? Yes, absolutely. This person is pulled by you. This person sees you as being someone who can match them. And there's a power couple here. Okay, some of you guys might be celebrating your 1 year anniversary. That's coming through here, okay? Now, I do feel like there's a lot of healing, like I mentioned, that needs to be sort of done here before there could be a coming together. And so I feel like this person is either not prioritizing you, keeping you sort of an option, bouncing between you, going back and forth and maybe not understanding, or giving you like some idea, maybe there's a hope and then not. And so there's this juggling you. There's this indecision, or at least a back and forth, a hot and cold, or like in and out. Okay. This is what I feel. I'm getting 2 Pentacle from this King of Wands energy. And it's like, what's going to suit me at this time? You know, is it the community that I built, the friends thing that scratches that thing that I have? Because there's a trauma here that needs fulfilling. And sometimes it's that when I lie to myself because I deflect what I truly need. And sometimes it's not, you know, sometimes it's you. And sometimes it's you because I got to give into this journey, this unconditional love that I'm trying to work through. So Spirit is really talking about you standing in a power here of manifestation of what you want to manifest and knowing your self-worth, despite maybe getting clarity and certainty from this person. This takes some time. There's no need for you to chase. There's no need for you to have to hear with words or something like this before you decide or move forward or do what you need to do. Spirit is really talking about you understanding your value, your beauty, your self-worth, and what it is that you can bring towards you through a manifestation. That will come. Keep focusing on that. Keep healing what you need to heal. This person is not in an energy right now to manifest in the 3D world with you and create, because they can't put the practical effort here. They've given up too soon. They think it's going to fail. So they don't even try, you know, and if they don't try, then you can start to see yourself as, am I not worthy of him trying? Am I not worthy of this person like stepping forward? Is this ever going to happen? You know, and then we could start getting into a Queen of Swords in reverse where we're upset or bitter or angry. I don't feel you're there. I feel like you're just not in the know, you know, and maybe you're like considering, do I even want to put energy, effort here? Because maybe you've been here for a while. And maybe for some of you guys, you're absolutely seeing your value now. And you're like, no, I'm not going to chase. I'm going to be in my full, you know, my full value here. And I'm going to go after what it is that I want. And if this person wants to, you know, show up, then they can show up. But I'm not going to keep sort of pouring here and putting in all of this energy and effort towards this connection. And so some of you guys might definitely be looking at having a whole new beginning here. So you know where you're at sort of in your journey, you know, if you're sort of still on this back burner energy, and for some of you guys, you're coming out of this, Spirit is wanting you to trust the divine, to take a leap of faith towards the unknown. What's the unknown? The unknown is, I don't know what's going to happen in this connection. So I could trust that something's going to unfold here as it should, if you know that this is your twin flame, without cutting it off. Okay, because when we cut it off, because it's uncertain, and then we're saying we know that it's not going to work. And it's like, no, this is the unknown, and this is where you're asked to trust. Trust that you don't know where it's going. Trust that you can let it unfold. Trust that you don't have to do anything here and it's going to unfold. Okay, but this would be just trusting one foot in front of the other, what's in front of us, including this connection. Okay, unless, of course, you're triggered, upset, hurt, and then you're like, I just can't deal with this person anymore. Okay, well, then that's a trigger and a trauma and you need to heal. So I don't know where you're at, because there's no need for blocking anyone out and creating all sorts of boundaries and resistance unless you're hurt yourself or you're disappointed that you didn't get something from this person. But then that's an expectation. And so there is no need for any expectation. There's no need for this person to give you anything at all. Okay, but this doesn't mean then, again, that it stalls you out. And if it does, then we need to look at ourselves. Why are we stalled out? What belief do we have here that we need words or confirmation from someone else, that we need anything from someone else? What is it that I could do right now that's going to trust in the divine, like the unfolding of this connection, like the healing of this person who is obviously still traumatized? I got to trust that the divine is doing this. I don't need to go do anything here. I don't need to go heal this person or invest in this. All I need to do is stand in my beautiful energy and know my self-worth and work through my traumas and come into union balance with self. So I could transform. And when I do this, then my person does this. And when my person does this and heal, then we could create something that'll stand the test of time and show up, a family, a relationship, whatever in the 3D world. Okay, but right now, Spirit's saying it can't come in the 3D. We can't build in the 3D because we're removed from putting the energy towards this thing on purpose for a very good reason. What's the good reason? To heal this thing. Whatever this thing is that's going on between you and your person, it needs to be healed. It needs to come into balance within self. This understanding, this illusion, this separation consciousness, all of this trauma, all of these beliefs, we need to send past this thing. Okay, but this definitely is a destined connection with the lover's path that is available to be pursued, explored, and sort of open to step by step, like this Fool. The only way to approach this thing is with Fool energy. No baggage, completely trusting of the universe. This doesn't mean trusting the person that's hurt you. You trust they have trauma. You trust they might be in pattern. You trust they might have double. You trust that they might do the same things. You trust they might not show up. You trust that they won't communicate. You trust that they might not say this. Now, this doesn't mean you believe that that's them always. This means I trust that this person has shown to be this way, but I trust the divine, that the divine will work its magic, that the divine knows what it's doing, that the divine is going to lead me, that this is for a very specific reason. And if this person keeps juggling me or not prioritizing me, how does that make me feel? Does it feel like it's taking something away from me? Is it devaluing me? Or is this a belief that I have? It devalues me. They're not choosing me, and now my ego's bruised. A confidence blow, an understanding of how I thought love had to be, that I needed to be chosen, or that I needed to see something concrete, or that this person had to show up. Because if that's my idea of love, then I still don't know about unconditional love. I'm still in transactional love. I'm still on fear-based love. I'm still on conditional love. And so that's what you need to work through, because this is all about twin flame journeys, all about healing and learning about unconditional love, not transactional, not fear-based. So how does your voice speak sound? What are you telling yourself right now? Are you ascended? Have you worked through this? Does it wobble to and fro? Sometimes I'm like this and sometimes I'm not. Okay, well, then we're still trying to ascend. We're still trying to reach a certain level of healing and balance. Because once you get that solid state, then you manifest. And what are you manifesting? You are manifesting something in the 3D world that can stand the test of time between you and another. This is two people, okay? When in a love reading, two people working through. This could be counseling, working through our challenges, collaborating, okay, to build something we couldn't on our own with someone else that stands the test of time. That's what this is about. But in order to do this, we have to put in the day in, day out efforts and the commitments here in the practical world. I feel like your person is putting their effort into not having to do this because there's so much, again, that 10 wand energy I was seeing, so much energy is exerted in upkeeping the illusion. It burns and turns and takes up a lot of energy. And so they deflect the reality and they engage in the dream, you know? But this doesn't mean that they don't feel passionately pulled to you. This doesn't mean that they're not doing what they're doing with you. They're still doing something here, you know? And so it creates maybe more confusion for you. It's like, why are they sometimes there? Or why is it that I intuitively connect to this knowing, but then in the 3D world, I'm seeing something else? It's like, yeah. So now you're waking up out of the matrix, that there's the matrix world, the 3D world of what you see, and everything else. And it doesn't mean it's less true. It just means in this 3D world, there is something else being experienced that hasn't caught up yet. And so congratulations, you're now tapped into an intuitive part of you that knows a greater truth. And just because you're not seeing it in the 3D doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And if you need to see something in 3D, then that would be the ego saying, I need to see, I need. And all it is not saying be happy with that and force yourself just to be happy with that. But what this is saying is heal through that so that you could transmute your ego. And then the universe will provide to you everything, because everything already exists. It's not saying you have to settle. Just settle and you'll be happy. No, this is about healing that understanding we have. So when you heal that understanding you have, that it must be in the 3D, it must be this and it must be that. If you believe that, you're still an ego. It must be nothing. There is no must be's. And that's the ego who wants to feel, touch, and smell in order for it to justify and validate itself. That's conditional and transactional. Nothing to do with twin flame journey. It needs to be healed. It needs to be seen through. That is overcoming what we need to overcome. That's what we're being called to do. Then we've come into union. Then, look, the world. Then we've closed out the cycle. Then it's over, because we've healed it. But if we're not doing that, then we're just making reasons. Well, why? I deserve to be in a committed relationship. I deserve, I. Little I, ego. Kicking and screaming, wanting what it wants. Okay? And you are deserving and worthy of that. But the healing through the belief of that needs to be looked at. That's it. Work through that. All right. Pile number 1, this is your reading. I hope this helped you. I love you very much. I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 2, you guys picked the meteorite strike. Oh my goodness. Crazy. So we're looking at your twin flame connection, okay? And I had to go get strawberries. I don't know, but don't they look just absolutely delicious? So I don't know, maybe some of you guys like strawberries, but I'm going to be eating strawberries as I channel this, which I don't generally eat when I'm channeling, but I don't know, I just had to go get them. So we're looking at the twin flame connection, and we are looking at what it is that is going on with your connection. I do highly suggest you go listen to the intro before you come here, okay? Do yourself that service, because this isn't going to make a whole lot of sense here, and I'm not about to go get into a big debate with anybody. Okay, this reading is going to be very specific for a twin flame. Okay, now you don't have to believe in the twin flame label so much as it is the type of soul connection that I'm tapping into here. Okay, so I asked the divine to deliver what it is you need to know about your connection, the person on your mind, and what it is the spirit wants you to know. Okay, so if you want to sit through this card layout, you can do this, which will help you to tap into your intuition, which you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether this is your pile or not. If you want to go straight away to the reading, I will put a timestamp down below, and we will channel and see what it is that comes through. Do not take words literally. It is energy that I'm channeling here, okay? So let's take a look. What do we have? We have first chakra. It says the energy of the root chakra supports our sense of safety in a physical world and reminds us to enjoy our physical bodies. Okay, so that's the root. And we have surrender your belief in scarcity. The universe is asking you to open the infinite nature of abundance. In this way, in this way, you can remove blocks in your life and succeed beyond your wildest dreams. Wow. And we have a wavering, number 70, or the number 7. So that is Cancer energy. Also feeling like a tower energy here with this meteor strike and this 7, which is tower energy. Okay. Sorry, strawberries. 105. Return to the world. Growth level. Reuniting. Community leadership. Supporting others. Public safety. Group activities. Risk management. Teaching confidence. Type 6, the loyalist thinking center between mistrust and trust. The number 6, which is Capricorn Gemini energy. All right. And then we have the veil of ignorance. Number 1, ego level. Being perfect. Perpetual dissatisfaction, critical judgment, rigidity, austerity, unexpressed anger, difficulty having fun. Type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. So we have some Gemini and some Virgo. So maybe Gemini energy here in this pile. Magician energy with 1. 1s are about new beginnings, potential opportunities. Some Aquarius energy as well with the Fool energy and Magician. Okay, then we have 14, Sagittarius energy and some Taurus. Temporality, ego level, month, long duration, far in time, season, later, long term, afterwards. Type 5, the observer thinking center between interior and exterior. And we have the blue, which is all about the throat chakra. Okay, and then we have 82, the number 1 again. So we have 1, 1, 1. So number 11 is a master number. Okay, it means divine inspiration, synchronicities, and the encouragement to keep going. 1 is about independence, will, beginnings, pioneering, individuality. Okay, so it says marriage, holy matrimony, ceremony, wedding, wedlock, sacred union, official commitment. Type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go, with the happy event growth level 82. And we have the mystical message 7-7 with follow the signs. So now we have 7-7-7. 7 is 77 is a master number. Trust the fall, an adventure that arises from deep wisdom, trust of life, and trust of self. 7's about faith, wisdom, reflection, understanding, spirituality, intellect, personal growth, solitude, and metaphysics. Okay, and then we have jealousy. I get jealous when I think of anyone else having you and stealing you away. And that would be this scarcity. Okay, 2 cups. Someone might be a wine drinker here. Someone might like the color red or like red wine. That's confirmation. Okay, so we have commitment. That's a wedding ring there. Okay, and we have marriage here and a wedding ring. And someone could definitely be already married as confirmation for someone here, okay? Karmic relationship. And I am filled with regret. And deceit. Honesty is the bridge to authentic connections. Lies, deception, and fraud. And we have 51, Saturn and Chiron. So Saturn is the ruling planet for Capricorn Aquarius. And this is all about investing for periods of time. So now we know why the time card came out here with month, because it could definitely be a commitment, a dedication, and sometimes even a sacrifice to attain some sort of goal or something like this. Okay, it's a very challenging planet, but also very rewarding here. We have Chiron, which is the planet of healing. It's the wounded warrior. And then we have Sun and Uranus with the number 8. 8 is Leo and Aquarius. Sun is divine masculine. Okay, Leo energy. And then we have Uranus, and that's the ruling planet for Aquarius. So this could be a great awakening here, is what we're seeing here. And this Uranus energy is giving us this meteor energy and this 7 energy that I was feeling from all of these 7s. Yeah, 7 and then 7-7. Okay, let me tap into this energy, okay, and see what it is that is pulling through here. Okay, I have a lot of questions for this group because it's not all 100% clear to me just yet. So let us unpack this and hopefully it becomes clear. We'll get more with the tarot. Okay, only take messages that resonate for you, and it might be something that comes together kind of closer as we get to the end. Okay, so don't click away just yet, because there might be different groups of people who are tapped into this. I do feel like I'm reading for a lot of your energy, not your person, but it could be blended, or you could flip it. So attribute it as you see fit. Okay, and like I said, don't take words literally here. So what's going on? I do feel as though there is a third party energy that I'm really tapped into for this connection here. Okay, and I'm going to read it this way. So just sort of apply it to how it connects. I feel like somebody is feels stuck. This is a scarcity mindset, stuck in a marriage. Okay, an almost married, legally married, a pretending to be married, or an actual official marriage. Doesn't really matter so much as it is feeling like there's a commitment of sorts that they're involved with. Okay, and now this person, in their mind, are concocting all sorts of stories, understandings of what they believe in regards to what they think and they're telling themselves is right, and what they have to do and how they have to be in a certain way in the 3D world. Meanwhile, discounting and making everything else irrelevant, when the truth of the matter is here that this person is actually highly sort of in this illusion, this deceitful energy. They're not only lying to themselves, but to the people in their world here. But they'd rather maybe be in a denial of this, because why would they want to carry this sort of a burden? And so I do feel like this person might have an energy here of, I'm like doing this for the greater good, or there's like a benefit here, but it's like, no, this is just sort of a misunderstanding of a lie here that this person is upkeeping. Now, I don't think this person wants to be hurtful by any means here, but this person has a true belief in scarcity, that they understand their situation in a certain way through their mind, and that's the only way that they understand it. So anything outside of that is incomprehensible, it's not understood and felt. And so they just create the responses and their actions based on this understanding of what they're in here. And so I feel like this person is being called to deal with the way that they engage in a relationship. I feel like this energy I'm really feeling, and I don't know, if this is a blend or what, but I feel like there was an awakening here, a mass awakening for this person to deal with things. And so I do feel like being connected to you, okay, or this connection, this twin flame connection that we're reading about, was the slap in the face or the reality that this person was needing to address. And this person, again, might be still telling themselves all sorts of stories here rather than taking action and doing what they're being really called to do here. This person could be talking themselves out of certain things, and it's like this says wavering, because it could be all of a sudden they see the signs, they understand, they're being shown, and then they talk themselves sort of out of it, because it's like, well, it's not happening here in the matrix world, so therefore it doesn't exist, and so I must be crazy, or this doesn't exist, or this is what I was conditioned to believe in, so now I'm just going to act in that way. And Spirit keeps saying, no, we're sending you signs, we're showing you something for you to deal with your world. Your world right now is not making you happy, no matter how much you think it needs to be this way, or tell yourself that there's a reason why this is happening. You're lying to yourself. And when you emotionally connect with another outside, even if it is just within your own energy field, that's a lie. Like a lie is in you're not being authentic to yourself, because your now world in the 3D world is not reflective of the truest version of how you need to be and who you need to be. So I feel like there is a level of fantasy here. I also feel like there's a need to deal with what's in front of us from a realistic expectation and a realistic engagement. I feel like this person, instead of dealing with what they need to deal with, might use this sort of connection to not have to deal with what they need to. And it keeps this person stuck. And why this person is sort of being introduced to this is to deal with their belief in scarcity. Because if this person acknowledges and deals with this, because there's only so long they could stay in this sort of dissatisfied world of the 3D and then escaping off to this 5D, but there's a mismatch. It's like two worlds are happening in tandem here, but nothing is getting accomplished. And so we remain in scarcity, and who knows how long this person can do this. Because I feel like this person is really being called to take action in their world. And I feel like this person might have the understanding of the longer I tough it out, or the more I'm doing this, then I'm seen as doing the right thing, or this is what the right answer is, like they have a belief of right and wrong. So they're carrying these judgments and these understandings of what it is to do this and to do that. Meanwhile, it's a critical judgment that only they carry from some conditioned program belief that they automatically assume is correct and right. And that in some point in time later on in the future that this person could decide to be happy, or that happiness will come or should come or something like this after all this, it's like postponing some form of happiness to the far future. And this person is being asked to be honest with what does connecting and bonding from a sacred place of union look like, and butt it up against some sort of matrix legal wedding and official marriage in some way. Because I think this person is a little bit confused here. I think this person might put a lot of weight into like the legal man-made marriage, as opposed to maybe a holy sort of sacred union, and then lie to themselves that they're sort of in line with something here, and that upkeeping the man-made marriage thing is doing the just thing. I don't necessarily feel like this is a twin flame, okay? For some of you guys who are here, I feel like some of you guys are here and been introduced to that person, because I do feel like I'm reading this as your energy. For a lot of you guys who this is your energy and you are the one in an actual marriage, it's like your twin flame or your person. It's actually some karmic person here in order for you to deal with this unhappiness in your marriage. For some of you guys, take that if it resonates for you, leave it if it doesn't. I don't know, but that's coming through very strong. It's like if you know that you're in a marriage and it's unhappy and you're sort of suffering it out in some way, and you're being given all sorts of signs, symbols, synchronicities, you're like, yeah, it's my twin flame because I'm getting all these signs, but we're not doing anything in the 3D. This is just a karmic sort of, because again, it's just energy. Even if we've never met the person, it's like karmic energy coming into your world to strike you upside the head so you could deal with disappointments, deal with your world here. And this wavering is like an inability to sort of commit to the change, and an inability for us to commit to doing what we're sort of being called to do here, and choose sort of the lie or the scarcity belief. So first chakra could talk about, a need for security and safety, and for us to sort of get the physical 3D world under our own sort of balance first, because this is the very first chakra here. So it's the very first sort of block that we could have is in the first chakra. Okay, it talks about our physical body. And so I'm really getting very matrixy sort of energy here, because I feel like your physical experience here, the very first sort of thing we're needing to deal with, or sort of avoiding or running or distracting from this person. And I'm now turned it and I'm reading it like you, because this is what it sort of seems like. And if this is your twin or your person, then this is what they're doing here. So there is this is reuniting, and this is karmic relationship. And when there's a reuniting, it's like we are shown energetically a very strong, intense mirror of something that wakes us up so that we can be reminded of what we're called to do in order to grow and ascend. The ascension process here would be this person's need to deal with things in the 3D world that are holding them back and keeping them stuck, and not allowing this person to connect to those in which are really truly spiritually talking to them, like a sacred union. And so this is why they're seeing the signs and the symbols intensely, so that they could deal with this whole thing. This person is coming into a realization. There's definitely an experience of some form of an awakening here on one side, either through you or through your person. Because again, I don't know if this is the same person I've tapped into, but there's definitely an awakening here. And when I say the awakening, it's like connecting to another dimension outside of the matrix 3D that becomes very apparent to us, that it exists, because we can no longer ignore the signs, symbols, synchronicities, and all the mystical experiences here that are showing us otherwise. Otherwise, we just be crazy to pretend it doesn't exist in some way. And so this is all a need to deal with the lie. The lie, which is their scarcity, or the lie that I'm to do this thing in the matrix world and then be happy, and then this can manifest. And then it's like, no, there is no and then. It's all that exists is right here, right now. So for some of you guys, this is coming through. If this is your person and they're in a third party, you experience something with this person feels bad. They feel really bad here because I feel like this person feels and believes that there's nothing they can do to free themselves from the unhappy marriage situation, circumstance that they're in, scarcity. Are they intensely understanding this connection? Yes, because they're getting sign, symbol, synchronicities in regards to this whole need for change. They were introduced to you in order to deal with this thing and not be in denial. This person is trying to play it safe. So safety for this person is kind of dictating a lot of driving their decisions. And when I say safe, sorry, I need strawberries. It's like the least amount of risk in the situation. So I don't want to give up my security. I don't want to give up something about my current energetic, because it doesn't have to necessarily be a home or money or something like that, although it can be security, but it can be about what I believe myself to be. So the image that I am, or the story that I've created of self, is one understanding and one, it's fulfilling something. And when I admit the truth and change it, then I'm seen differently. Then it's putting this version of me at risk. So scarcity. There's nothing that they would miss out. There's nothing except for them aligning with authenticity and truth. There's no missing out here. But they're seeing the Four Cups as the something is like, or I guess even the Four Pentacles, because it's like, if I do that, then there's a missing out. There's a trade-off. This person is seeing it as a trade-off. And it's like, as long as they see it that way, that if they were to deal with their situation, there'd be a trade-off, then they're still in scarcity. And they keep making the same decision, which is keeping themselves unhappy, postponing their happiness to a future date and some time and place that's really not coming and hasn't come, and continue to suffer here. Now, Spirit is coming through with this person really, really being shown, really, really like being heavily sort of woken up here to the reality, because this person can only, like see through this veil of ignorance for so long before they're having to make massive change here in their world. But I feel like this person has been trying to avoid as long as they can and delay. And again, it's the avoidance of the risk. And I think they're trying to keep like the peace of the situation or the circumstance as unbothered as possible, which you would think would make sense. We don't want to like rock the boat in any sort of way, but it's deeper than that, because it has nothing to do with the happiness and the rocking of the boat of the other world. It's more about the self, the image of self, and the idea we have in scarcity that something would be rocked in some way. That's a deeper sort of trauma in the root chakra here that's actually driving that. That has nothing to do with our sort of, good intention for everyone and all things. No, we might want to say that is, but it's not. And so this person's having to see through their own lies of why they're there. This person has an opportunity of unlimited potential right here, right now in front of them. And they're choosing to stick to the devil they know. And it could definitely be that this person was programmed or conditioned, or their tradition or their culture was building them to have some sort of understanding of what it means. And so that is the thing that we hang on to until we question it and undo that and look from the angle of the truest self, to see through what is real and what's not real, rather than just take what we were told and run with it and then build their whole castle around this thing and then have to justify and support this thing. Because if we were to admit the truth to ourselves, it'd be sort of devastating, right? So I feel like your energy might be someone, because again, I'm feeling a little bit of someone's energy that feels a little different here. It feels like a blend, but I'm thinking it might be for some of you guys your energy, where you might want this person to offer some form of a commitment here that is solid, that is something you can rely in and see as proof of their loyalty or proof of their ability to, I don't know, move something forward in some way here. But Spirit is saying there is a need for this person to first deal with what's in front of them, because nothing can really progress until they deal with the thing that needs to be undone first. And so even if you were to get a commitment, even if you were to get a something, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, you know, that this person is really having to work through this understanding that they have first. There is an energy coming through of this being understood or resolved in time in some way. Okay, so I don't feel like it's like a lost cause in some way. I don't know how or what, but I do feel like there is maybe an intense pressure here more and more for this person to cope and like deal with their situation rather than cope. Because I feel like there's a coping. How long can I cope here? How long can I cope here? How long can I sort of not risk anything? And they can go there till, you know, the cows sort of come home, until they can't no more. And so Spirit's making it so this person can't no more, whatever that means. I don't know what that looks like. And for all of you guys, it's something different here. And so maybe you're like waiting around for this person to sort of wake up and realize and do all this stuff, you know? And so I do feel like for this energy too, it's coming through, this person could definitely cope by distracting themselves. So they're really focused on work, or they're really focused on, I don't know, drinking for some of you guys. Root chakras could be addictions, vices, distractions, fantasies, things that don't make me look with what I'm needing to deal with, you know, movies, actors, whatever. It's like I just live in that world, and then I don't go and I deal with what I need to deal with. And it's like, no, the Spirit is saying like the impacts here need to be looked at and dealt with. Otherwise, we're living in this dream fantasy world. So let's take a look, because I do feel for this pile, I don't know, I'm missing a whole bunch, I feel, and it's kind of jumbled. So I don't know. Spirit, for pile number 2, now what am I missing exactly here in regards to this twin flame connection or the soul connection, or what it is that pile 2 is needing to understand? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 2. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile 2. Thank you so much, pile 2, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. So blessed to be here doing your reading. The Lovers in reverse. 4 Pentacles, which we were definitely feeling. You know, not wanting to take the risk. The 2 of Wands in reverse. It's like the choice in front of us, and we'd rather just play it safe because we don't want to risk. Okay, the Lover is about a choice. 2 of Wands is about a choice. There's a path here. Either you play safe or you make change. And it's laying the groundwork for change here. And this person might have missed their boat, didn't follow or pursue their passion. Maybe they had a chance to express it with you, experience it with you, and then they missed out. The Moon, there's the fears, the uncertainty, seeing through the through the veil of fear rather than through, what's this, deceit, okay, rather than the truth of the matter. Lovers could definitely be a choice between 2 partners. And we have the Knight of Cups, and under that we have the Sun energy. Don't read bottom of the deck reverse. So we have Leo, Divine Masculine energy here. And we have the devil in reverse, Capricorn energy. And here we have judgment in reverse. So major arcana. This person, like I said, is being awakened by the universe here, okay? We say follow the signs, because the signs are like slapping this person upside the head. Their world is being exploded here, okay? This person has an authentic expression of desire and emotion needing to be experienced in 3D, no matter how much they tell themselves that they're doing the right thing and need to be where they're at. They could tell themselves all they want, and they'll continue to have these nightmares and these signs and these symbols because they need to deal with this. And so I feel like this person could certainly close their eyes, go focus on work, or go drink themselves, or do something here and pretend like, at some point in time, this is going to resolve, or the time will come. No, this person needs to take action. This person needs to shine the light of awareness and be honest and truthful. This person is not understanding just yet, okay? And when they don't see and understand the full picture just yet, their decisions aren't completely in line with the greatest thing that's for them, or the destined thing for them. And so there's an opportunity for them to come out of their comfort zone, an opportunity for them to go down the path. They have to choose this. They have to choose that want. Otherwise, they just stay put. And so opportunity can come every single time, knocking on their door, not going anywhere. Okay, all this opportunity exists right here, right now, for this person to partake in. They don't got to wait for a future date. They don't got to wait. Okay, time doesn't exist. There's already an opportunity here. This person is needing to listen to their authentic self and their expression. If it's too clouded by the what ifs and what I'll lose out on, the scarcity mindset, then we can never choose that one, and we keep aligning ourselves to the comfort and to the misery that we know. It's based out of fear. This person's choosing out of fear of this, or what if that, or all sorts of stories. It's not true. It's lying to self, and it's definitely stemmed from the veil of the fears. This person is being called to free themselves of this devilly sort of way of thinking and engaging, because it's calling all the shots in their decisions. And then they perpetuate this sort of understanding within themselves, which isn't, again, based on truths and seeing clearly. And so it's not that this person wants to lie so much, but they are sort of lying because, in a way, this person is like looking out the window in the moonlight. So they are seeing what they're seeing there and thinking that it's real. Meanwhile, if they were to look out the window and see daytime and see the sun, they would see the reality of their situation. And so there's a need to sort of see this, but it's like, I see the fears when I look out the window in the moonlight, then I believe it. And so I cling on to what I have there, but I'm not seeing clearly. This person is being called to trust and go after how they feel. And they are definitely more about what's going on in the matrix than allowing themselves the permission to just trust the divine, trust their feelings, trust where they're being called, trust their dreams, because they're being given, follow the signs, symbol synchronicities, pointing them in the direction. But it's like, oh, it's not enough. It's just a feeling. It's just a dream. It's like, yeah, but it's so intense. It's like spirit really wants this person to trust in their intuition and the divine, and like that's part of their world. But it's like, no, because this person is very matrixy, and it's like very much pretending like there's only one world that exists, and that's the matrix world, and everything else is the lie. And it's like the universe keeps ramping up that dial of the intuition, the dreams, and the push, like to get them out of that. But it's still just emotions. It's still just feelings. It's still just, my intuition. It's still something here that I'm going to pretend it's not real. It's like, no, that's your destined path, and you're blocking it, and you're not aligned, and you just keep leaning back into the fear. Like, what if it don't work out? And all these things that I got to let go of and deal with. And so I get very terrified of like letting go of the thing that I do have, the story that I've built around why I need to stay there, or what would happen if I were to act on that. Meanwhile, it's just an illusion, and it's keeping us back and not allowing us to ascend and grow and experience love and what we were fired up about. We're just sort of here pretending like our world is okay and that it's going to be fine, and we're like clinging to it. Yeah, we're ignoring the sign symbol synchronicities, and we're being called emotionally Okay, I'm getting Chariot energy from the 2 horses, and Chariot is all about integration of shadow, listening to the universe so we can have success and move forward in a balanced way. But we must integrate our fears and our shadows. That's the only way to have forward movement, progress, and success. Otherwise, we're stagnant and stuck. So something about listening to our hearts and our emotions. And this person is like, nope, 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 nope. I don't want to see it. I don't want to understand it. There's too much fear here. There's too much risk. I'd rather cling on to what I know. I'd rather numb myself, distract myself, or tell myself that this is more right or more real. Meanwhile, I'm just lying to self, and I'm not seeing the greater picture here. So this person is being awakened. Okay, there's this awakening energy. Now we're seeing 2. And so this is why I feel like maybe this is mirrored and some of it is like blended, what I'm reading you and what I'm reading this person. I don't know. There seems to be a lot of energy here. You and your person could definitely both be in third parties or marriages, or one person for sure is in a marriage. Okay, but I feel like there's inner child healing that definitely needs to be done. There's definitely a mirroring here. And so some aspects of this could definitely be yours. There's a definite need to integrate shadow when it comes to what is keeping us stagnant by looking and examining our fears and knowing that our choices are going to be only conscious when we understand our decisions that we're making based on fears, based on what is the driver that's making the decision today, and then shine our light of awareness and say, is this decision actually conscious? Or am I just doing this because of XYZ, this story that I'm telling myself? Because, like I said, I do feel this person might have missed out on you or this connection, or the opportunity came and went. And it's like, here I am, still in my little world here. But is this person's dream stopped? No. Is the universe took the pressure off this person? No. In fact, this keeps ramping up. This person is really, 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 really being called to act in line with their truest feels and passion and desires, no matter what they're seeing in the 3D manifest here. And trust and let go of whatever that is and whatever might happen when they let go and move forward. But I won't have that, and it won't be this, and it has to be that. No, those are all just man-made thoughts and stories. It's all devilly things. So they're having to release this clutch of security, and it could be that it's so tight because if they have first chakra blocks, it's like whatever they experienced as a child here could have definitely been like, if you follow this, you're at risk of getting hurt, or you can't trust it, or like you really need the security. And so it's like the security is big. Security, whatever that is, the home or the thing that really paints this picture of it's the be all end all. It's the be all end all, and nothing outside of that is going to be secure or safe. It's like, really? Are we sure about this? At the expense of our own emotional happiness, forevermore, missing out. And so if some of you guys are in a third party, it's like this person's like not liking this, And if they're in a third party, it's like you're not liking that. And so it's like working through these third party sort of issues. But it's like what we're really, really hanging on to is not the other person. It's like that security or that story that's built behind it that need to cling to some sort of thing that we're telling ourselves. Justice. Yeah, that's the marriage card too, but it's about the balance. So karmic sort of lessons, karmic relationship. Like I said, for some of you guys, I don't know necessarily if it is a twin flame, It could just be a wake up and a shake up to get out of this, to get out of the stagnant marriage or the stagnant thing that we're experiencing. But I was definitely feeling a need for shadow integration with the dark and the light and the Chariot and this justice, all about balance. I feel like I need something and I'm missing something here. It seemed to me like this reading might have been all over the place just from how it was coming through, but I was trying to channel exactly what I was seeing when I was seeing it. Although it might have been bouncing 3 of Wands energy, stuck and stagnant, not getting on the ship, not allowing ourselves to follow our passion wherever it might lead us. And so we just pretend it's not there. No, I don't feel it. If I don't see it, it doesn't exist. Let me stay here in this world. Let's see, Spirit, what am I missing? Pile number 2 wants to know whatever it is that I'm missing here, whatever they need to know. Clear and concise message to wrap up this reading. What am I missing regarding pile number 2 and this twin flame, soul connection, whatever it is that they've tapped into here, whomever it is they tapped into here. This card's been flying at me, but put it back for pile number 2. High Priestess in reverse, exactly where we're left off. Ignoring the intuition. Not seeing or understanding something here. 6 of Pentacles. Balance. Giving and receiving. The Lovers again in reverse. Gemini energy. So now we have 2 major arcana. Why is this High Priestess in reverse? What am I missing here for pile 2? What do they need to know? Hermit in reverse. Virgo energy. More majors. And why is this 6 Pentacles here? 3 Swords. Yes, 3 Swords. And then finally, why is this Lovers here? Tower. Which we were really feeling, like I said, from the meteor and all the 7s. So I'm definitely not surprised to see it, okay? And we got major, 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 book ending, the 6 of Pentacles and the 3 Swords. Okay, and then, of course, the 3 of Wands again at the bottom of the deck and the Knight of Cups. Again, with the horses. Okay, and I don't read bottom of the deck reverse and the Wheel of Fortune. Oh my goodness, Wheel of Fortune. Okay. So I'm not crazy. Whatever I was channeling here, although it doesn't fully make sense to me, but it will for whoever this is meant to be. Wheel of Fortune. Spirit is assuring there to be change, okay? Things to flow, that the divine has the wheel. Although the divine cannot make our free will and conscious choice. The only way to make a conscious choice is to be out of fears, is to be awakened first. Otherwise, we're acting out of programming, fears, conditions. Okay, it's like taking the wheel and making all sorts of actions. And since time doesn't exist, we can spend our whole life sort of under the illusion of the moon and the reverse High Priestess, thinking we're doing the best thing, but we're really just reacting out of fears and reacting out of the program. This person's reacting out of fears and program until they wake up and see through it. They're being called to be awakened. This is why this connection has been put into their world. It's like slapping them, like I said, with reality. What's the reality here for this person to heal? Heal trauma. However, this person's trauma got rooted here, okay? Some of them childhood, some of them like past relationships, some of them just, they came into this world with beliefs of what it means for security and scarcity mindset. Whatever this thing is needs to be healed. This person, how they're engaged with you, I feel like they could be somebody here who was breadcrumbing, who was not in a position to give in a practical way to this connection because they were invested somewhere else. You know, and they were, according to you, how this is coming through is according to you choosing to give to that, choosing to stay. And we could see it in that black and white way and say, yeah, choose. But it's not a choice. It's not a choice at all. Their trauma and their fear are acting in a way here that's keeping them giving to whatever situation in the 3D world, because that's the energy system that they're in with all of the veils that they're wearing. They are not connected to their truest, authentic self with the Hermit in reverse. So what does this mean? This means this person needs time to deal with this. Okay, so if you are in a separation, Spirit is saying this is much needed for this person to connect to their Hermit energy, get enlightened. As long as they keep feeding the energy that's actually against the Hermit, it upkeeps the illusion. And so there's a need to do things a little differently here, which will eventually become something that this person can no longer see or deny, because the intensity will become too strong for this person to deny and suppress and avoid where they're needing to look. Because again, this person is getting heavy sign, symbol, synchronicities, follow the signs, however it's coming through, and Spirit keeps turning up the knob. So this person connect to their intuition. Do not ignore what you're being told. This person's saying, no, it doesn't exist because I don't see it in the 3D. No. I don't see it. I don't understand it. And so they're not doing anything here, and they're really removed from what they're being shown. The truth of who they are and what they're passionately being called to do so that they can expand. What's this 3 Wands expansion? 3 Wands expansion is soul expansion, growth of our soul, our spirit, our world, so that in the 3D we can also expand and move. We can't have movement and manifestation in the 3D world. It's just stagnant unless our soul is expanding and moving and ascending. This person is blocked here at a crossroads, not choosing this connection out of fear and out of a pain body. That's where they're investing. They're like investing in that world that's like protecting this pain, this thing that they think is really the driver of all this trauma. It's like their action here is towards like I said, coping, and they think that it's making the pain less, but it's actually upkeeping the pain and avoiding dealing with the pain. And it's not like they're actively knowing this, but their reaction is doing this out of like, I need to protect myself in some way. And so the way I protect myself is just to stay put and close my eyes and hope it goes away. But that's actually creating the opposite of what they're being called to do. So tower is inevitable. And for all of you guys, a tower happens when the universe pulls the rug. So what the universe does is gives us all the time to sort through with patience, with grace, with events that are synchronistic, with signs, with symbols, with people, with karmic relationships, whatever it needs to do. It uses anyone and anything to give us the momentum to make changes. When we get very stubborn and we deny, suppress, and pretend it doesn't exist, the universe comes in and there goes my email with a tower. The tower is not pleasant. The thing that was supposed to happen will happen anyway. The marriage falls apart, our person leaves, cheats, whatever. Something happens that we can't avoid, and we have to deal with it, because the tower is really, really, really the world, the universe, doing these unpleasant things for us to deal with the thing that we were not wanting to deal with. This person is not wanting to deal with it. And the universe is saying a tower is assured. And this person's going to get a surprise here, okay, with this Sun and Uranus. A sudden realization, a whack, a falling apart of something here. And it won't be pleasant, because then in hindsight, it's like, I could have been establishing this, or I could have been open to this whole thing, and it could have been gradual, or it could have at least been working in tandem with the universe to protect. But instead I was clinging with the Four Pentacles and pretending like I couldn't see anything or understand anything here for my own sort of fears that were lying to myself. This person will know they're sort of lying to themselves, because if they really ask themselves, how do I feel? Where do I want to move towards? They'll know that answer. The mind will come online with another reason why we can't or why we shouldn't, but that's scarcity. There's no can'ts, shouldn'ts, and wouldn'ts. There's just, what is your, for this person, okay? This, I'm not saying everyone just act of what we emotionally feel and go follow your heart in that, and then everything will work out fine. It could, or it could not. I don't know. This person's journey, I'm talking about this soul journey specifically, their destined journey here is about coming out of the 3D into the emotional body, listening to their emotions and their feels. That's what this person's being called to do, whether it's right or wrong in the past, or for other people to listen to it, or they have to give up something, you know, and in other stories, that's not what I'm talking about. This situation here with this person, they are being called to listen to their heart and their emotions. It's actually guiding them towards their person, their path. They're suppressing, denying, avoiding, and telling themselves all sorts of reasons why they cannot. Scarcity. Power's coming. It will come. Okay? And so this person's already hurting, and Spirit is saying, like, if we're already hurting, the only thing we can do is start the healing path, start the integration, start actually investing and dealing with overcoming this, rather than avoiding and distracting, because this person is distracting, like I said, out there, maybe looking at other relationships, or like, I don't know, you know, this doesn't necessarily mean like intimate sexual relationships. It could just mean like filling it with other things, devilly things, but it's distraction, as long as I don't have to look at the pain and what I'm being called to do, which is make actual moves, deal with my falling apart marriage or whatever the situation is, my community or my thing here. And I don't want to admit it, and I don't want to see it, and I'm being stagnant and stuck. Yeah, so why is Spirit doing this? Spirit isn't just doing it for kicks. It's all about reaching a state of emotional satisfaction. This person has risked their happiness, their emotional bliss for a world of matrix here that's all pentacle, upkeeping some security that they think that they need to upkeep at the expense of their emotional satisfaction. The 9 cups plus the 1 cup we see here with the Knight of Cups is 10 cups. 10 cups is 2 people coming together to create a happily ever after, emotionally happy. And so it's not one or the other. I feel like this person might think in order to be emotionally happy, it's like, then I have to do this, that, and the other. That's scarcity. It's not one or the other. This person can be emotionally happy in a connection and have the resources and everything like this. This is, the universe has the wheel, and the universe is all abundant. The universe is everything at once. There is no limitation. It's infinite. Everything at once. So some of you guys might have been drawn to pile 1. I'm seeing the little pouch here. Okay, if you were, then take that as a sign to go over there potentially and watch, but only if you're called. Otherwise, that's it. This is your reading, pile number 2. I hope this helped you. I love you very much. I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 3, you guys picked the beautiful tree right here. And we're looking at the twin flame connection between you and the person on your mind. Now, if you don't believe in the twin flame label so much, this is more about a soul connection, okay, and the type of soul connection that this is, okay? So I do highly, highly suggest you go listen to the intro message before you wander over here, because then you and I might not be speaking the same language in regards to what it is that I'm actually channeling here, okay? So I'm looking at, and I've asked the divine to give us some information regarding your twin flame connection, the person you came here about, the soul connection, whatever you want to call it, okay, because they're just words, and what it is you need to know here, okay? So I will channel, and we're not going to take words literally. We're just going to take the energy here, okay? So let's see, if you guys want to go straight away to the channel message, you can, although this gives you an opportunity to tap into your intuition as we do the card layout so that you know whether this is your pile or not. So we have 37 with soul. The energy of soul activates our connection to the part of us that is closer to the higher realms, God or the divine. So number 10. And we have surrender to wonder and awe. Open to the magic of every moment and sense the awe and wonder in all life. This attitude will keep you connected to the ecstasy of flow. Beautiful. And we have limits 31, or the number 4. So 4 is all about structure, foundations, stability, planning. That is the energy of Aries and Scorpio. And we have 11, self-listening, inner call, ego level, receiving versus giving, self-awareness, autonomy, self-compassion, valorization of self, relationship healing. Type 2, the helper, emotional center between giving and receiving, number 2. So 2 is Pisces energy and Libra energy. Okay, 11 is a master number, divine inspiration, synchronicity, and the encouragement to keep going. Red is root chakra. We have 68, or the number 5. So this is Taurus and Sagittarius energy. It says initiatory ordeal, stress level, loneliness, entrepreneurial project, collaborative project, interdependency, physical challenge, social improvement, family responsibilities. Type 5, the observer, thinking center between interior and exterior. The blue is talking about authenticity, because this is all about the throat chakra. Okay, and then we have betrayal, 6, which is the Gemini and Capricorn energy, 60, fundamental injury, stress level, betrayal, cowardice, deception, adultery, trickery, infidelity, and abandonment. Type 6, the loyalist, thinking center between mistrust and trust. And we have future, 16, temporality with ego level. So 7 is Cancer energy. Okay, future, forthcoming, tomorrow, ulterior, destiny, prospect, afterwards. Type 7, the enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. This is the heart chakra. We have 7-7 with king, divine masculine energy. So 77 is a master number. Trust the fall, an adventure that arises from deep wisdom, trust of life, and trust of self. So I'm getting some Aries and some Leo energy coming through. We have denial. It's much easier to deny my feelings for you with the blindfolds. And we have the letting go. Remember, we don't take words literally here, okay? It's going to be channel separation. Okay, and then we have I ran away because I felt I couldn't live up to your needs and expectations. And we have insecurity. Your worth is intrinsic and unchanging. Doubt, uncertainty, and anxiety. And we have 55 with Chiron. Chiron. Wow, deep healing here. Okay, 55 is a master number. Change is the only constant. Divinely orchestrated change. And then finally we have 45 with Jupiter and Saturn. So Jupiter is a ruling planet for Sagittarius, Pisces, and Saturn is a ruling planet for Capricorn and Aquarius. So I do want to pull this from the book first, just to see. Maybe. Do I have it? Let me pause. No, I don't need to pause. I found it. I found it. It was just impossible to get to. So we're going to look at this Jupiter-Saturn before I begin to channel. Right here. Okay, so it says, conjunct sextile trine. In primitive state, you're caught in a push-pull between what you wish you believed and what you fear. You tend towards mania and depression. Adaptive. As you learn to regulate between reality and possibility, you build from the knowledge that creating the great things you imagine means working hard. Evolving. As a guru of heaven on earth, you model the small steps required to transform lofty, optimistic visions into truly secure realities. Okay, and then we have in conjunct opposition square, primitive. Your light is trapped under a heavy bushel, pessimistic and depressed. You focus mostly on what's wrong. Adaptive, you are learning to strike a balance between optimism and pessimism. Evolving, you are both an incredible realist and a positive thinker. Rather than dwell on a problem, you adeptly problem solve in ways to allow for expansion and joy. Okay, I am going to channel. Give me a sec here. Okay, pile number 3. I feel for a lot of you guys, this is your energy. Okay, and so I'm definitely going to read it this way, but you can apply it to your person if this is how you want to do it, okay? It's up to you how you want to do it. Spirit is really talking about the reason you and sort of this experience or this journey is happening, which I think a lot of you guys might already know, okay? Unless you're sort of early on in this stage. Why you're sort of being put through the ringer here with this experience with this person is to wake up a certain part of yourself that needs to be addressed and dealt with. And it is more about coming into union balance with self and seeing through the illusion of the matrix, what is real and what is not. And so we got to work through a lot of these unspoken things that we can't confirm. We just know, like intuition, inner trust in the divine, all these things that are sort of unspoken. Okay. And so I feel like this is designed like this for a reason and a purpose. All of what you've experienced, which has been challenging, by the way, I'm seeing here with your person, is for a reason. It's to create and cast doubt and, doubt within yourself in regards to how you can trust this person, how you can trust in the 3D, whether you can trust the divine, how you trust in yourself. It's all about working through balancing, trusting what you're experiencing and inner knowing, and working through so that you could be freed from the matrix beliefs, because the matrix beliefs would have you believing in separation. Okay, so we're really doing some deep healing. And this deep healing, who knows how far back it goes, generational, societal, it's like collective wounding over time, over generations. And so it feels very profound here in order to remove all the falsities that aren't true in the matrix here. Yes, things are manifesting. Yes, there's a reality that we can perceive in the matrix world, but there's so many other sort of truths in reality, like our soul or spirit, the divine, the spiritual realms, the psychic realms, the dream world. Okay, like there's so much going on energetically. And so we're being connected to the higher realms. We're being connected to God, whatever you want to call it, the divine. Okay, it's my channel. I'm going to call it God because I know exactly what I'm talking about here, what I'm referencing. You're being called closer to God, because when we remove the illusion of separation, the veil, what the mind wants us to sort of believe here, the duality, the dualistic thinking, separation consciousness, when we remove that, we are now seeing through the illusion of the matrix, and we're now seeing the divine beauty within ourselves and within others. It has to be cultivated and generated in this way. You're being shown the beauty light in yourself, so that you're able to recognize it and see it in others. This is a very painful process. And I think this process has been one of, like having to work through maybe some denial of truths. And maybe this has been seeing through your denial of truths that you might have carried for some time, some beliefs, some stories, and some mind stories or beliefs that we truly believe to be a certain way, and having to undo it and then see through it and then acknowledge it and then work through it. So you could have had to let go of your twin flame. You could be working through, how do I let go? You could be working through, again, seeing that there is no separation, having to physically be separated from the twin. Maybe you guys are at a long distance or have never been able to come together here. And how do we work through this separation? It's very painful. How do we work on letting go of certain beliefs and stories and understandings and work through that? Or how do we let go of our twin flame or attachments? There's a lot of here about pain body, and a lot here about this lack mindset that makes us feel lonely, abandoned, isolated, or sad because we can't physically come together. That's an illusion we have to work through, and it takes a long time here. Some of you guys might have had a distorted masculine energy. However, this manifested, maybe we were heavy in the masculine, a doer. I am the master of my ship. I am the one creator that's going to be in control of what I create, very attached to outcome. And then all of a sudden we experience disappointment and we realize I control absolutely jack shit. I can't do anything except for make conscious choices and decisions, but the universe is the one that's calling the shots. There's so much more outside of this matrix veil that I was wearing or believing. Once I work through seeing through that, but it doesn't come without great suffering, And so your twin flame could have been ripped from you, or like periods of time where you just felt like you couldn't connect. And it's like this sadness. And it's like, why am I have this feeling like I need to connect in the 3D world? It's a dependency on a way of attaching to someone, an outcome, a fixation on the 3D that might have generated some sort of an understanding that we had, and then spirit rips us of that, and it's like, now we need to cope and find a different way here so that we can actually see the truth. And so I feel like your twin flame is coming through with a small little speck here of what they've been sort of doing. And I feel like your person, it does feel very twin flame-ish. Their lessons could be definitely different than yours, okay? But twin flames are being called to awaken to the truth. And so they have a false story as well. And what's their false story? That whatever it is that you need, what's going to make you happy, I can't be it. And so I ran. So this person made themselves unavailable because they were lacking self-confidence or a belief in self that they could fulfill you in any sort of way. And it makes you feel like abandoned or lonely, or like this person didn't want to step up because this person wasn't telling you, hey, you're too good for me, or I'm putting you on a pedestal, or I have low self-worth and therefore I'm just not going to engage. They just don't engage. They might have not responded. They might have just ran. They might have showed up for all of a ham sandwich and then you never heard from them again. They could have just been very difficult to pin down. They could be avoidant like crazy, running like crazy, very minimal when it comes to expressing or sharing or anything like this, making you feel very abandoned and alone. And it's like, how do I work through this? And you might have felt very deceived, let down. This person, they're choosing everything and everyone. They're not prioritizing me. I'm the prize. I'm the prize. They better come correctly. No, that's ego. That's what we're working through. This person has trauma. Their trauma here is in regards to their belief of self that they're not good enough. Even if they're like egoic, and putting on this big show that I'm the man or I'm the gangsta or I don't know, whatever they're saying or doing here, underneath it all, there's the trauma, which is I don't believe in myself to fulfill you in a capacity here that I'm feeling I need to be in order for there to be success. And so therefore I don't even try. I don't do the thing. Okay, so both of you guys have like there's a limit here in regards to where we think it could go and how it could go, because we're really just breaking out of this matrix. So every limit that exists in the matrix seems to be a real limit. And it's like, no, it's not a real limit. It's one that we might have always seen as a limit, but it's not necessarily a limit, a limitation. There are no limitations when it comes to energy. And so we're really expanding outside of that. We might be experiencing like telepathy, like in a very intense way that we can't deny, dreams where we connect, energetic wonders and awe here that you can't explain, that can't be explained in the 3D world because it's so miraculous and so tied to divine nature. That's like, how do I explain this? And it's like synchronistic flow, meaning it's like been this way for this journey in order for you to work through and have buy-in. It's not just a one event here, a one and done. I mean, we could have had very profound spiritual events, but I feel like for this group, there's a lot of spiritual flows, okay, like events, experiences between you and your person or in this journey itself that keeps pushing you outside of this matrix so that you can accept and see this other world here. There are no limitations. Okay, potential is infinite when it comes to the divine. So I feel like this person could have definitely awoken your insecurity, and your insecurity is that of attachment to a physical connection and having to deal with abandonment, okay, and having to give and receive and know what that means. Giving and receiving from a flow state, from a place of unconditional love and authenticity. And we don't know what's authentically going on until we actually connect to ourselves. This self-listening is all about removing what isn't the self because it's been programmed, conditioned, or carried as a belief and dictating what we think is self, and it's driving our actions in the world. We got to remove that. We got to understand what that is so that we're not limited with those actions in the 3D world. And once we remove it or we see through it, we start to actually listen to the authentic self. The authentic self was dying to come out. Everyone's authentic self is dying to come out. Why? Because it is our Christ nature. It is the truth of who we are. And through many generations of conditioning and programming, we've lost touch of who we are. We've lost touch of soul, of spirit, of God, of higher realms here. It's all woo-woo. And so as long as we do this, we're sort of in a dream state, living in the physical and taking actions based on reactions and based on traumas. No, self-listening is connecting to the authentic self. This is all about us being able to be open to everything the universe wants to give to you, the infinite abundance that's coming towards you. If you're not open to it because you're limited by certain thoughts and beliefs and reactions, you're forcing it out, unbeknownst to you, forcing it out. And I feel like for this pile, it's like there's an energy here of I'm the doer, this like freedom of control, that we have the illusion we're controlling things and that we're really making outcome. Like I'm like, I don't know, a CEO, I make good money, I do this, I do that. It's me, 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 me. I'm the one doing this. No, it's not you actually. Okay, just like, look, I say I'm doing this. No, I'm not. The divine's doing this. I have no idea how to control cells and all of this stuff. I'm not like doing all the intricate movements within my hand. So I think, and I'm arrogant enough and egoic enough to believe that I'm the one doing this. No, the divine through me. The divine's controlling everything here, okay? And so the divine is saying that there is a self here that has been ignored, suppressed, and covered up. Not on purpose, but through, evolution, through time. And it's created all sorts of insecurities, and it's all created all sorts of illusions. It's created all sorts of beliefs. It's created all sorts of things that were leading us down a path, and spirits bring us back to the other path, our spiritual path, so that our spiritual health and growth can line up with the 3D manifestations. Because it doesn't matter if we're spiritually rich if our 3D world is falling apart and shit. And the 3D world, if it's all kind of together, but it's really shallow and it's not deep, then we're disconnected from God and from spirit. And so this is a readjustment and calibration so that the 3D world can be thriving, so that the health of our spirituality, the health of our 3D can be in sync, in line, in balance, healthy, and growth. And so that we see in the manifestations of this 3D world, the Christ and the truth of soul and spirit coming through, because this has been lacking. This hasn't been sort of manifested here. Okay, and so there's an importance to sort of bring it back to God, bring it back to this. And so I do feel like there was a lot of different shadows and triggers for this person that I'm tapped into, which, like I said, would be you. Like I said, abandonment, false self, the self that needs control over outcome, that thinks it's the doer, that sets limitations based on certain beliefs of cans and cannots that are actually false. And this twin flame person has mirrored some mass insecurity in this person, that they're actually not a doer, that they actually have no control, and that separation is just an illusion after massive pain of being separated or experiencing the loss and the pain and the loneliness. Because only through the suffering of loneliness, pain, and separation can we actually wake up to the truth. We don't know the truth until we experience the opposite, okay, like the darkness. And so this person most likely has really gone through a dark night of the soul, an ego death, a spiritual shift here, or is going through one for sure. And it's healing deep, deep, deep seated traumas. And it's going far back. I feel many lifetimes or many generations, many, many, many. Okay. And so I feel like this person is all about coming into union, balance with self. And when this person works through this, as all soul connections, when it comes to twin flames, their twin flame is also working through this lack of self-confidence, this belief that they have that they aren't good enough to meet an expectation here in the 3D world, so therefore that they are not deserving of this type of a love. And so I feel like Spirit here with this future is really assuring that there is this coming together once the union and once the shadows get sort of looked at and resolved, and connecting to the heart space with this green ray, which is the heart chakra of unconditional love, of self, so that you guys can come together in the future if you're not together already. Okay, so there's like maybe a knowing or an understanding or a waiting, like when will it happen? And Spirit's saying, well, we're dealing with the Tower, the 16 here, which is really the deconstruction of all those things that I talked about, the false self. It must deconstruct before we can build. And that's why it's pushed out sort of to the future, even though, again, we know time is just an illusion. And so you may think, well, why, Spirit? Why can't it happen now? Spirit's saying, because you can't build a solid structure on sand. You can't build a solid structure on rubble or another structure that's half erected, falling down, crumbling. We got to remove and level out the ground. That's what we're doing. This takes time, because this thing has been built over, like I said, lifetimes, generations, whatever. This thing's been built, and now it needs to be deconstructed. Okay? Even though it is, a lot of it is beliefs and illusions, it's like those are the things that need to fall apart. We can't still have like integrated beliefs that are programmed, that are going to dictate our decisions. Because if you were to come together with your twin flame prematurely, that false self is going to make decisions in line with the old self that isn't authentic, with the limiting thoughts and stories and reacting out of old self. And it's not going to be sustainable. It can't be healthy. It can't be grounded. It can't be rooted. Spirit saying this connection is assured a healthy, stable, rooted, grounded, solid connection, but it must have the groundwork. This is going to take as long as it takes. And only the ego would ask, how long? Why am I still waiting? Why is it taking so long? Okay, it's fair to ask this for sure, because the ego self sees time on a linear fashion, but there is no such thing. And so the self that's connected to the divine, the self that sees beyond this 3D world, the self that's beyond the limits, isn't asking about time, is solely focused on Spirit. Show me what I don't see yet. Show me how to let go of what I need to let go. Show me the beliefs in scarcity, separation, lack, all of this stuff. Show me the wonder in my brothers and sisters, in the universe, in the natural beauty of things. Connect me to it. Take me back to you so I could feel you, God. Spirit, soul, depth of it. And not to be just focused on the superficial, like the 3D, what I can do pentacle wise, my career, or like what I'm building in my home, or like a 3D relationship. This is beyond this. We're no longer with these like narrow sort of eyes. This is like everything connecting back to soul, spirit, divine consciousness, unity consciousness, heart consciousness, unconditional love. And we have to heal all the parts of us that have been traumatized. And now we don't have to do anything. And this isn't saying you must be a perfect sort of healed human here in order to experience. What Spirit is saying is there's a time where this will be the perfect time, called divine timing. When is divine timing? Divine timing knows when you've reached a certain point that is open to this connection being healthy and working on being grounded? Is it when you're at a certain percent healed, 50%, 40%, 90%? I don't know. Spirit knows. But if it's the wrong percentage of healing, like I said, we still have like rubble, or we still have beliefs that are going to make reactions and decisions that are actually counterproductive to this connection. This connection must go the way the divine wants it to go. And in order for it to do that, you must make conscious choices and use your free will that's outside of traumas and pain and suffering to see and respond to this person and engage with this person in a way that's different than maybe how we have in the past because of our pains and because of all of our suffering. Okay. And so the authentic self is really, really coming through here as one and the same as an extension of the divine, so that we're making decisions in line with authenticity and with the divine, connecting to unity consciousness with everything and everyone, seeing the love and everything and everyone and the light and everything and everyone. Now, this isn't coming from a love and light and optimistic sort of woo-woo, everything is love and light and there is no pain and suffering. That is bypassing and that is in denial. We must go through the pain of realization, the anger, the hurts, the resentments, screw you, divine, for hurting me, if we're in that phase. But then we see beyond it. It's not the divine hurting you. It's you shedding all of this stuff that we've been hanging on to, that we've been told, or that we were conditioned to believe. It hurts. We have to go through those pains. So we can't just be, I have to be more ascended, or I have to be more healed, or I have to attach to this new story. No, you don't attach to no new story. The truth comes out. We don't have to buy it, believe it, be convinced of it, because now we're creating more conditioning, more conceptual stories and program. Even what I'm telling you, don't buy into what I'm telling you. Let the false self fall and your true self will come out. All you got to do is let the false self fall. Understand what your limitations are. Understand what you're telling yourself. What are your beliefs? What do you think is under your control? It's actually an illusion. Are you attached to outcome? Is your ego driving a lot of your reactions and you're seeing it as authentic or good intention? No, it's ego. Okay, so we got to look through it and let that fall, or see through it, or disentangle it. And that's all you're being asked to do. The true self then is shown to you. And that is the self that is more ascended, more divine, more light. You don't have to believe in it. You don't got to be woo-woo. You don't got to go feed the poor and feed the hungry. Okay, you can definitely go do that, because then you'll be awakened to a service to others. Okay, that's the true calling, is like service to others. Because I see myself in others. I see myself in the universe. We're all connected here. And once we connect to this, it's like we don't want to see anyone suffer. We don't want to be, like ignorant to this. We're in a position to help, we'll help. If we're in a position to, spread this love and keep this momentum of beauty going, this is what we're committed to. But we can't do this from a place if we're still in ego and burdened and hurt and suffering and feeling betrayed and feeling all sorts of heaviness and limitation. We need to heal that first. Okay, this is a process. So pile number 4, let's take a look what Spirit wants to communicate through the tarot for pile 4 in regards to this twin flame journey. Pile 4, clear and concise message. Spirit, what do they need to know about this twin flame journey right here, right now? Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3. Did I say pile 4? I don't know if I did, but you're pile 3. And so your twin was coming through a little parts here, which maybe they'll come through the tarot more, because I feel like your twin is working on self-love. And they have a belief here of scarcity, that they're not good enough, okay? The world in reverse. We might be very close to the end of this sort of lesson, okay, with the world in reverse. It's closing out a cycle successfully, and that's a need to let go. And we might still be clinging to certain things. It's like, no, let go, accept reality as it is. 8 of Pentacles. So that's the work card, okay, putting in the time, the energy, the effort, and the dedication in the 3D world. 7 of Wands, fighting for what matters. This could be the card of being defensive or just protecting our own beliefs, our own sort of territory. Okay, 4 Cups, feeling rejected, feeling abandoned, looking at what doesn't work, what's not working, where we got let down. King of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. That's the king that's the most reliable, stable, grounded, and creating a long-term commitment. Okay. And what is this Seven of Wands energy here? Three Wands. Movement, growth, expansion, getting on the ship to the next phase, but we must close something out. And the King of Wands, I don't read bottom of the deck reverse, which is Aries, Leo, Sag, and under that we have 8 cups, and under that we have the Knight of Cups. So 8 of Cups is this letting go energy, okay? Emotionally sort of walking away. What is this, Spirit? Okay, Spirit is talking about your journey sort of being in within your own sort of wheelhouse and what it is that you're able to focus your energy on. Because this person that you're dealing with, which I do feel is working on their level of self-confidence. Okay, this person that you're dealing with has a lot of love here with this Knight of Cups. And this person might have to walk away from what doesn't emotionally fulfill them in order for them to be emotionally ready to move forward here. And they're working through their confidence, like I said. Their vision of what they see possible for themselves. If they feel like they're seeing themselves from a lens of pain and that it's impossible for them and they believe this, then their beliefs become reality. Then their confidence is shot and they don't see a vision of how they can make it a manifestation. They're working through this, which requires a lot of walking away, because right now in their world, there's a lot of emotionally dissatisfying things around them. The only way that they'll know it's emotionally dissatisfying is by being introduced to you. If you are emotionally satisfying for this person, it's like in contrast, they're like, wow, look at the world I live in. I must detach myself from these things that aren't fulfilling. This is understood by us through a period of time. Who knows how long? I feel like you guys are closing out a cycle here. Okay, but I feel like Spirit's message to you is saying, do you feel rejected by this person still? Are you looking at what's not working? Don't put your energy there. And keep it on the gold cup, which is self-love, filling your own cup, understanding your own value. I think what you want this person to be is a King of Pentacles. In order for this person to be a King of Pentacles, meaning in the 3D realm, showing up, investing, creating something, putting in all of this commitment and building this thing that could stand the test of time, that you could rely on, this person needs to learn their lesson, just like you need to go through a series of things before you can come together. Like I said, it can't be premature. What do they need to go through? They need to go through building up their confidence. How do they do this? By learning day by day what is emotionally unsatisfying and walking away from it, leaving it behind and recognizing it. They got to recognize what's not emotionally fulfilling first. This is a process. This person is in a position at some point in time to be there to build and create this for you. Okay, with you, I should say. Not for you, but with you. But it has to unfold as it does. But we can't be crying over spilt milk, looking at why is it taking long? What are they, whatever, not doing. Spirit saying, close out what you can. And there is no need for you to sort of maybe be in an energy here that might prolong this as longer than need be. Meaning the longer we stay here sort of looking at what doesn't work, the longer we're sort of more defensive, the longer we're sort of resisting or fighting against rather than accepting what is and allowing things to flow as it does, then Spirit will say this might stall this connection out for some time. And so you can help what you're fighting for. Are you fighting with or against this connection? So to check your intention is saying, am I right now focused on what I can actually work with, because certain things you have decisions and choices you can make. No, you can't control outcome, but you can definitely make decisions and choices in the moment. And if your decision and your choice is to look at what's not working and be disappointed and feel let down and feel rejected and keep saying, well, why is this person not building something here? Then we start to really put out that energy into the universe and we slow down this closing of the cycle, which needs to close. Your person needs to walk away from what's not emotionally satisfying them at their own pace, at their own time, whatever divine timing is for them. Okay, but Spirit is really talking about something manifesting here in the 3D that's going to take time, consistent effort and dedication, which I do feel your person could be in this energy sooner than you think, as long as we close out cycles and as long as we continue to close out what we need to. Then your person can flow in that way as well. Okay. But if we're stagnant, rest assured your person is going to be stagnant too. Don't feel like you're leaving your person behind. You're not. You're working on your own golden Ace of Cups so that you can move forward. Okay. We see 2 of the red wands here. And so I feel like it's you and your person. Okay. Both sort of having to experience what you need to in order for you guys to slowly ascend. And it's a step-by-step process. And I feel like if we're like this, we might think, well, if I move, maybe my person will. And it's like, no, this journey is about 2 people ascending. Okay. And whatever you're sort of working through here is allowing your energy to flow and move, which will allow the energy of the connection and the dynamic to move. And then it starts to manifest in the 3D world. But it must be dealt with on an energetic level first. And energetically, if we're too focused on what didn't work and the disappointments, then we're resisting, fighting, and we're a block. We're not allowing things to flow. We're still sort of stuck here, trying to figure it out. There's nothing to figure out. Yeah, look, transformation, release. I feel like there's a need to release and let go of certain things we might still be believing about rejection or understanding or feeling disappointed. There's no need to be disappointed in your person. Okay, if you're disappointed in your person, that means you're still thinking and expecting some sort of thing with your person here. And your person is just working through their challenge, which is this belief they have that they're not good enough for you, that they can't be a King of Pentacles. So as long as they believe it, you don't want to deal with someone that's going to step forward and has a belief that they can't be a King of Pentacles. So they got to build their confidence. They have to have the vision. They have to walk away from their 8 cups. And I do feel like Spirit is showing this person's working on that because the 8 of Pentacles is in the upright. There's something going on in the 3D right now. And the 8 of Cups is in the upright. And the King of Wands. So I feel like where their energy's at right now is their confidence. They're working on their vision of how to move forward. They're working through things they got to leave behind. They're emotionally catching up to themselves. And so there is movement in the manifesting 3D world that might not be directly impacting you, but indirectly impacting this connection. So you must be doing work because that's ascension. Your person's ascending because they're working on their confidence. They're working on their beliefs. They're working on emotionally walking away and detaching. Okay, but I feel like you might be sort of getting stalled out based on the 4 cups and feeling maybe rejected. And then looking at this person like, what are they doing? Why is it not directly impacting me? Because they got to indirectly deal with what they're doing here first before things get sort of impacted. Okay, so let's take a look and wrap this up for pile number 3. High Priestess in reverse. Yeah, so I think you're not privy to seeing what's actually going on in this person's world with the High Priestess in reverse. And so this could mean this person isn't communicating to you, isn't sharing with you. You're not around to see what's going on here. Pisces energy, 10 of Wands, and the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Why is this High Priestess in reverse? Why is this High Priestess in reverse, Spirit? And we have the 7 Cups. Why is this 10 Wands here? I feel like a lot of you guys might be at a distance with the separation. This person is using a telephone. The Emperor, Aries energy. And we have the King of Wands and the Chariot, Cancer energy. So what did I say? Your person is working through their shadow integration, which I said it was their confidence. This King of Wands, they need to have the vision, the confidence to move forward for them to be successful in this connection. Because Spirit, like I said, isn't going to prematurely do anything in this connection until it's ready and go time. Go time means I have the confidence and the vision in myself. As long as I have these sort of beliefs that are not true, that I'm not good enough, I can't meet your expectation, I can never be a King of Pentacles, blah, 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 and all of that mind speak. I'm not balanced, I'm not integrated, I still have ego. Okay, not ego as in an arrogant way, but an ego as in a lack of self-confidence. That's the egoic story that I tell myself, I'm not good enough. I can't do it. I can't prioritize. Okay, this person might have troubles prioritizing this connection, growing this connection, investing in this connection. This is what they're working through on their own sort of area. Okay, working through walking away, what doesn't emotionally fulfill them, identifying this, working through this. This doesn't directly involve you. And so you might be experiencing not seeing, not understanding, this person seeming confused, not giving you a pointed direction. And it's like, what do you mean you don't know? Why aren't they telling me? You know, and we're getting very burdened by this. And it's like feeling very separate. And this is what you're learning about again, the unity consciousness means through my separation, my pain, my loneliness, feeling burdened, I have no choice but to see through the illusion. And so this is why the burden, this is why it's taking as long, because you're still working through with the 10 wands of burden, your beliefs in scarcity, your belief that you're separate from this person. You're not. You're just not seeing it. Okay. And so this is all about coming into divine masculine energy. Like I said, for a lot of you guys, there was distorted divine masculine energy coming through your energy. If this is you, what I was saying, like I'm the doer, I'm in control. Okay. This is a healthy divine masculine energy. This is knowing I work with the universe. I'm integrated into whatever I need to integrate here in order for me to work with the universe and feel capable and empowered to do so. I'm not at the mercy of what's not working and this person's traumas and all confused by my emotions, the intuition blocked, and all of that stuff, which I feel you've had to work through because this is in the past position. It's like this person wasn't committing. There was a lot of confusion. There might have been a lot of not knowing where to go. What's my intuition actually telling me? A lot of cycles, a lot of spinning our wheels, a lot of not knowing what to do, what's right, what feels right, and blocked intuition and being not privy to the truth and then feeling so overwhelmed. And Spirit is saying, just trust that this process is happening to bring out certain traumas for you to deal with. So if things feel stuck, they're stuck for a very good reason. Okay? They're stuck for a reason. It's not to make you batty or crazy. It's for you to deal with this thing. Yeah, Eight of Swords, limiting beliefs, and then the King of Cups. So if you've asked, if your person feels deep love for you, yes, King of Cups, there's love here. And I feel it's on both sides, okay? Love can just sit there. It's not going to take any action. Love is just an emotional feeling. If someone's full of trauma, especially when it comes to having a vision and taking like the power back into making things into action. They just sit there, dreaming about you in their chair, smoking their pipe. Oh, how much I love pile 3, how deep I feel. It doesn't go anywhere. They might not tell you. They just feel it. They sit there and all they tell themselves with this devilly energy is why they can't, why they don't know how, what they cannot do, what it's not going to be, how they're not fulfilling. And it's like, no, this needs to get healed. The devilly energy in regards to them taking action on how they feel is what's being integrated so that they can move and have success in this connection, so they can deal with whatever it is that's getting in their way of becoming a divine masculine, so they can be empowered to take action. And in the meantime, you're seeing in the 3D world things here that are making you feel upset or sad or bad or blocked or like not understood. Okay, but we got to rise above this. This is all egoic things. We don't need to see it in the 3D. We need to connect to the intuition and we need to trust the divine, that there's more going on here, that there is love here. Okay. Now the Lovers in reverse. So we're not having a balanced progress here when it comes to this connection just yet. And Spirit's saying, no, you or your person or both are still working through 8 swords. Most likely your person. Okay. I feel like it's just heavy for you to carry. It's sad for you to carry and you're not privy to this. And so I'm here communicating this with the divine, that your person, as long as they have 8 swords, they just sit there on their chair smoking their pipe. Okay, your person might smoke a pipe, by the way, and is like literally just knowing that they love you, knowing how they feel, and then they're just sitting there, not taking action, giving themselves, again, like I said, all reasons of why they cannot, why it won't work, or why they suck, why they're incapable, why they're not good enough, why they're, don't have the pentacle thing that they need to give to you, or the ability to successfully come to you, or something like this. It's like, I need this, I need that in order to be with pile 3. Do they though? No, this is just integrating those beliefs. And so Spirit is assuring success, balance, harmony once this person comes into their power. Okay, and you need to come into your power as well, by allowing yourself to not get run down by the burdens of what we're seeing in the 3D world. And trust that as long as we're tapped into our own intuition, that we can't be led astray here. But if we're listening to the fears, we start to get very confused about what to do. And we start to repeat cycles of disappointment, cycles of loss, cycles of 4 cups and burdens. And we don't need to do that. Okay, we don't need to repeat this. And so there's a need to choose wisely how we engage. Are we going against the intuition out of a fear, or out of anger, or out of a burden because it got stuck or feels like it's taking long? Because that's ego. Okay. And so we just need to and understand when we're now back into our 8 swords and creating all sorts of limiting thoughts, because time doesn't exist. And that is just an illusion. And so Spirit is assuring success, health of this connection, rooted, grounded, fruitful, and very abundant. Okay. Once it's balanced, there will be success here. Beautiful angels, this is your reading. There's a need for it to be nurtured, and we need to be in the right energy. Your person's working through this so that they can offer something solid. And they have to have the right mind story here in order to do this. Otherwise, they just don't believe in themselves, no matter how much you believe in them. They're prisoner to their own 8 swords, okay, and held back and stuck at this lover's crossroads. Stuck, not knowing which way to go, not knowing how to choose, keeping everything up in the air, not prioritizing, and you feeling like, an option. And it doesn't feel good. But that's why you're not an option. It's just this person needs to remove the block. All right, pile number 3, this is your reading. I love you very much. I hope this helped you. I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye.